right, we are live. Welcome everyone to Wasted with Wise, episode 17. I am, as always, the wise old gamer, the guy who brings the train in restraining order. And with me is my first panelist, Supernova. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man.
How was your weekend? How's your week going, etc.? What did you do? Anything good? It was
Not a
Thanksgiving this week and everything like that. What's good?
not a damn thing, man. Honestly, it was just boring ass week for me. We haven't really done anything for holidays in the last couple of years, especially since losing my dad 2 years ago.
Oh,
But yeah.
did you lose him like on a specific major day or what? If I don't want to be bringing up
Oh
old
no, that's not going to bother me. No, we lost him in like August of 2021.
uh huh.
But it's just that like
Oh,
holidays haven't really been the same. You know.
we had a similar situation several years ago. We before between my elder and my younger, we were pregnant with a girl, and we ended up losing her. But we lost her on the worst
Oh
possible day to
shit.
lose anybody, on Mother's Day, and
Oh wow.
yeah, so we don't produce we don't do Mother's Day in our house because of that reason. So yeah,
Yeah, that's
that was
understandable.
yeah,
Yeah.
it
See,
was a
my
big deal.
my parents got engaged on New Year's, so
Uh-huh.
that kind of fucks up that holiday as well for us
Oh
because
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's impossible for us to celebrate the new year without celebrating my parents' anniversary, of which my father's no longer here for. So it's kind of a similar type deal where that holiday is permanently kind of fucked for us.
Yeah. It's kind of weird how that stuff happens, right? Like you living your life and then something major happens and then it sort of taints the holiday. And I mean, it doesn't never improve. I don't think that even once we're like 100 something years old and whatever, we'd still probably not celebrate. And just like you, I think it would always be a thorn in your side. I don't care how old, once even if you're like 100, I don't think it would be something that, and it's just one of those things that and not to start the show on a downer, but it's one of those things that it's like we always sit here and fight and bicker and complain with our friends, our loved ones, and with society in general. And sometimes, like, we have to sort of be reminded that life is very tenuous. Not tomorrow is not even promised. I mean, 5 minutes from now is not even promised. And we need to be grateful for everybody and everything around us, and that's the main thing. So
Yeah, life is incredibly short, and we don't realize at times just how fragile human beings are and how easy it is to just no longer be here and how fast it can happen.
well, this sort of pertains to the topic at hand. One of the topics that we're going to have, and that was actually about what we're thankful for as gamers. And of course, I'm going to save the major discussion once we get to that topic. But what I was saying was is that like we should go out of our way to try to be more thankful and appreciative of what we have. Like last night, I tweeted a photo of myself eating a plate of Thanksgiving food, and I'm like, you know what, dude, I'm here. I am. I'm around family and friends. I podcasted earlier that week with a couple of friends of mine, and what's his name, Doof Noopkum and all of his friends. And I said, you know what, that's it. What more do you need in life? I got a plate of Thanksgiving food. I'm surrounded by family and friends. Everything else is just bullshit, comparatively speaking. Everything that I have right then and there is all you ever really need. So, and I
Mhm.
think I mean, we always love complaining, but we should be grateful for everything we have, especially if you look around and people have just a lot less than we do. So, yeah. So it's just one of those things. But
For sure.
so we have Mr. Jeffrey. I am so sorry that we started a little bit late, but I couldn't help myself. I presume that you are a associate of Mr. Jim. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. He will be in shortly. He had to take care of his of his stuff that he has to do at home.
Uh huh. Okay, so are you a part of the that developer circle that he is was talking about? Like, okay, cool.
Yes, I am the CEO.
Oh, wow.
Oh shit.
So we got some. So do y'all want to be considered? Okay, so you can call yourself whatever you want to be called here. Do you want to be considered a AAA publisher, AAA developer, AA developer, or indie? What do you want to classify yourself as?
We're doing a mix of everything, to be honest with you. We're starting off with 2D, and then we're moving into 2.5, and then going straight 3D.
Oh wow. Oh, man. Cool, cool. So we do have a topic for you guys, like what what the panelists and what anyone in the chat would like to see in the game, and what you guys are going to sort of share with us regarding your game. So hold that thought. We don't want to, basically spoil the surprise too soon, if you will, right? And a little bit of heads up. I don't know if Jim told you about this show. We are not the typical show. Super, do you care to elaborate?
Yeah,
It's gonna be chaos, sir. It will be chaos.
Yeah,
But it'll be a good chaos.
I've joined in y'all streams before, and I've seen some of what y'all talk about and what y'all do. Y'all have had me laughing quite a bit.
Well, that's
and you still showed up. Okay, that's okay. That's on you. That's
Hey,
What
I'm
up,
not, I'm
Paul?
not scared of death. I ain't scared of you guys. I mean, honestly, y'all is a funny bunch. So
yeah. Well, we the sort of ambiance or the atmosphere that we're trying to install for this show is one in which it's a Friday evening. You get off of work, you go to a bar, you sit around with your best friends, and you're just drinking and shooting the shit, and you start talking about one topic, and then that one topic's discussion leads to organically to another one, and by the time the whole thing ends, you don't even know where you started, right? You just let the conversation go where it needs to. And that's what it is. I mean, we want to, like, there's a lot of serious podcasts out there. I'm not trying to make this podcast into that. I'm trying to make this into one where people tune in to sort of relax, and get their weekend or whatever nighttime, whenever they're watching it or whatever, outright, and that's what it is. So cool. All right, Cerebral Boss Man, how you been doing? How's your Thanksgiving, and how has your week been going?
Well, thanks to you, my Thanksgiving was better than it was gonna be.
No,
so.
man, not because of me, man. That was just a drop in the bucket, dude. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say you forgot to ask the question of what are you drinking, because this week I'm actually drinking something thanks to you.
Well,
yeah,
we
same
can't
here.
tell.
Yeah,
We can't tell if either of you bastards are drinking because neither of you got your camera on.
My camera I had to, because I have to do some other stuff with Microsoft, so my camera's in a different position, but I'll turn it on in a bit.
So how was your week? What did you do? Anything exciting or anything?
I just played games, dude. That's all. That's my life. That's all it is.
No, I mean that's not a bad thing. I mean, just if the fact that you got the discretionary time this week to play, that's a good thing. There are weeks that go by that I don't even touch my controllers because I'm like,
well, for me, it's not really discretionary time as much as it is just it's what it is. It's time. It's
time.
Game time.
Right. Yeah. Right. So I totally get that. And
as people like, oh, that's so cool. No, it's not. Trust me. I would rather have stuff to do that would actually pay me to spend my time.
Right.
At this point, I'd even be willing to go out into an office situation or at least a workplace situation and see other people.
Well, you said at one time that you were working in the school systems. Have you tried going back and try getting your old job back or something?
Well, the old job not there because what happens, when they do budget cutbacks, the first people to go are support, especially tech support. Then the teachers are told, all these computers we got for you, you guys have to oversee them yourselves. Good luck. And there's usually that one teacher on the staff who knows some stuff about computers that he ends up swallowing the entire load.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's me in my school. Like anybody has I'm surrounded by a bunch of 60 and 50-year-old people who have no fucking inclination as to how to work a fucking computer. They literally think they're gonna touch the V key on the computer and the computer is gonna fucking explode. And so they keep coming in here and calling me I remember 3 weeks ago, right? This one lady, she deleted the shortcut for Chrome from her desktop, and she is like, she was like, Miss, what happened to my internet? I can't go onto the internet. And I'm like, I open up her screen, I open up her computer, and I look at it, and I'm like, well, where is the icon that's supposed to be here? I don't know. I didn't do anything.
Yeah, they never did anything. Oh, that's
yeah, it just randomly deleted itself. A shortcuts icon randomly deleted itself, right? And I looked into her hard drive. Of course, she still had it, so I just
Yeah.
made another icon and gave it to her.
Yep.
She's like, "Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you." I got a bag. I got a fresh batch of freshly baked homemade cookies
There you
out of
go.
it. I mean, I'm not complaining, but
You know,
I didn't do anything.
and some teachers are really bad. I had one teacher once. I was, because I was doing tech support at the school, and one day she comes up to me and says, the clock on my this was back in the late 90s, early 2000s. The clock on my computer is wrong. Can you come and set the
Right.
clock?" And then she goes, "I know how to do it. I just don't have time." and I blank said to her, I said, "That's not really my job."
Yeah, I mean,
They
go ahead. You were saying?
they I don't know if you saw it. I posted the other day the thing about just because you went to college doesn't mean you're smarter or better. Because
Yeah.
I didn't go to college. Everything I've learned is self-taught. I know more than a lot of people. And
Yeah.
so, but teachers, you tell them you didn't go to college, and all of a sudden you're a rung below. But part of me is always in my head going, "But you're calling me for help."
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a really great quote. I gotta try to find Paul. There's something about how like just being intelligent is not smart, or something to that effect. Like being smart
Yeah.
doesn't mean you're
Yeah.
intelligent. I'll try to
Right.
find it. It's a great quote.
Yep.
Well,
But
yeah,
yeah,
that's
more
what I
than
tell my
once I
students.
wanted to go, "You're calling me to help you fix this." So,
Yeah, I did sales and support for GoDaddy.com for multiple years, and the amount of shit I've heard from people over the years, like tons of people who had no business trying to run a website or no business even having a fucking computer, and it's like, you do realize what it is you're trying to do, correct?
Well,
Oh man,
the reason that is this. Like, I think because our generation is one that grew up with the internet. So as the internet evolved, we evolved with it. And then you had two different subgroups in that. You had those individuals like me, you, and everybody here on the panel who sort of embraced it, right? And sort of learned as much as they needed to learn to become proficient at it. And then you had those individuals that said, "Yeah, this is just a passing fad and we're not going to waste our time doing it." But it wasn't a passing fad, obviously. And now it's ubiquitous and now they can't do it. And you would think that the upcoming generation, like my kids' generation, they would be more knowledgeable about this shit, right?
Bro,
they're not. They're because they're
No.
not they're not learning the inner workings like I did. They're not learning how it does what it does.
yeah,
Exactly.
the current generation is incapable of changing a flat tire.
That's the damn truth. That is the exact damn truth there. No, seriously, like remember with the whole COVID thing, right? They sent all the kids home, so we had to, as teachers, teach remotely via Zoom,
Yeah.
right? And so, how do you? Well, it's okay if you're teaching English or if you're teaching history or if you're teaching like some facts-based subject, even like your sciences, like your biologies and chemistries, right? Or even physics to a certain extent, because you can write like essays and stuff on a computer and think nothing of it. But then how do you do that with equations, right? Like,
Well, it must have been fun for you because you'd have to know the kids were cheating when you go, "Okay, Bob, what's the answer?" And Bob go, "It's 39.726742." It's like, don't use the computer calculator, you little shit.
Exactly. I don't want to know the decimal. I want to know the fraction. I don't care to know what the computer knows. I don't care to know what you know, right? No, but seriously. So what I would do is like I'd say, okay, well, I would give them a PDF document of the homework. And I would say, okay, so what you do is you do the problems on a separate sheet of paper and you scan it using your phone and send it to me, right? No big deal. I mean, you would think that's a very generic concept, right? Couldn't do it. Half the class couldn't do it. And these are advanced kids, mind you. These are not like standard kids. These are like fucking like the top of the top, or supposedly the top of the top, right? And they don't even know how to fucking work their phone to scan
I think some of them had to be messing with you, dude. They just didn't want to do it. Okay, I'm just sorry.
Well, the current generations, they have access to absolute, unlimited knowledge at their fingertips. And if they need to know something, if they need to know something, they search real quick, they find the answer, but they don't retain the information because they didn't have to work to find it. It's just a quick.
Yeah, I actually had a kid tell me once,
and boom, we're done.
I had a kid tell me once, "I don't need to go to college because if I need to know something, I can just look it up on Google." I'm like, okay, that's not the same. No,
Well, I mean, it's the thing that it's like this. Even with my kids, they'll be like, "Oh, I don't know how to do this." I'm like, "Well, you do have a phone, right?" They're like, "Yeah." I said, "Well, then look the shit up and do it."
Mhm.
It's like you don't need me to sit there and walk you through every fucking thing. You
Just
can
gonna be like,
go
listen,
on a
bro,
but
do
see,
fucking.
you want to
your
know how to
teacher,
do shit during the machine uprising or not?
well, but see, Wise, I kind of disagree with that because kids learn differently, and some kids do need that
For
hands-on,
sure.
I mean, I
that
agree with
tactile.
that, but you like some of the stuff. Like for example, I do not. I'm not. Ever since I've been married, I've learned more cooking now than I did back when I was in college. And not because I didn't want to learn in college, but in college, the only way I would learn a recipe is if somebody would actually go out of their way to show it to me how it's cooked. Now, because of all of this stuff on like YouTube and of course just the web in general, if I literally want to make a fucking casserole, I can look up how to do a goddamn
Yeah,
casserole and
but
do it.
again, I know somebody who can't learn that way. He can't learn by watching. He would have to have somebody walk him through it,
I
and
get
he would
that.
have questions the whole time.
Yeah, I'm a bit of both. Like I can learn reading out of a textbook, but I'll learn far faster if I just say, show me how to do it and let me do it. And once I do it, boom, I got it. We're done. I don't need
Just
to
like
read it out of the book.
just like why is you're a math teacher? Math is my weak point. I have
Mhm.
Same.
to be honest, and braggadocious. I have a borderline genius IQ, but I can't do math to save my life. Um, I literally, going into the 8th grade, couldn't do long division until I had a teacher who sat down with me and really worked with me on how to do it. And then
Mhm.
I went to college and tried to learn basic algebra. And some of it, the problem is I can do it in my head. I can look at the problem and use my brain
Mhm.
to go, well, that's the answer. And they go, well, how did you come to that answer? And I'm thinking, well, that's the only one that makes sense, Um,
Right.
well,
Well,
show me your work. I said, I don't know what to show you, and they would show me in the classroom, and then I'd get back to the dorm room and go to do my math homework. Wouldn't have a fucking clue, you know,
yeah.
because I can't retain that information. I've never been able to retain that information.
Well, as a college professor, I could tell you the worst place to learn any fucking thing in life is college because there's just not enough
Well, I'm
time.
just saying it's a roadblock in my head. I literally cannot do all those the way schools want me to do it.
All
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, there is an argument to be said that is it even some of the stuff that we teach, and even when I teach it, I'm sometimes teaching it, and I'm like, you know what? Why in the fuck am I even teaching this to this
Yeah,
population of individuals? Because they're not
probably
going to use it.
one out of the 600 kids you're teaching is actually going to use any of this shit
Yeah,
later on.
honestly, classes like math and science and shit like that should be 100% elective. Shouldn't be mandatory for degrees and shit. Because like, if you want to be like, oh, I want to go be a baker here, I want to get a degree in baking. Go,
Oh,
okay, great. You
you
need to
better
take
know you
calculus and world history of
no,
why
but
none of that shit applies.
but you better know basic math and measurement if you're going to do baking because there's a lot
Well,
of
yeah,
chemistry
but you need
involved.
basic math. You don't need fucking
Right, but yeah,
calculus.
basic math,
Yeah,
correct.
yeah,
There's so many courses that they require
yeah,
you to take, and it's only because they want more money out of you or from the loan you're going to get that are completely 100% non applicable to
right.
the career in which you were trying to enter. It's like teach me the shit that I need to know for the career in which I want to enter. None of this other ridiculous shit that I'm never going to use just because you want X amount of credits or you want X amount of money. It's ridiculous.
Well, a lot of that is also due to the fact that a lot of those classes are weed out classes. Like if you're especially applying to a graduate program that is very competitive, like for example, medical school or physical therapy school, or if you're trying to get a master's in welding, even, they're going to make you take like high level stuff mainly because they want to thin the herd of the applicant pool. I mean, I'll give you an example. UAB Medical School, every year they have only 200 seats for their upcoming entering freshman class, but they have 100,000 applications nationwide and worldwide applying. So they have to whittle down a population pool of 100,000 to 200 people. So that's like
Yeah.
one in 100 people. They're rejecting 99 out of every 100 people that come in there. So they're gonna have to do something, right? So I can understand for like your advanced, especially for your STEM classes or your STEM majors. Like if you're going to major in biology or chemistry or engineering, you better fucking know how to do an algebra problem. Okay, plain and simple. Like you're gonna kill fucking somebody if you don't know how to do 2x plus 1 equals 9, and you're trying to be a goddamn engineer. But if you're gonna be a fucking I don't know, if you're gonna go and write a book, why in the fuck do you need to know how to do algebra? So
Right.
that's the thing. So
Yeah,
but
it's funny. My brother-in-law, who's a mechanical engineer, he could do all kinds of crazy math. He had a chalkboard that he made and he put up in his bedroom, and he had what looked like the fucking equation to fucking create wormholes to another universe on his
exactly.
chalkboard, right? But
Yeah.
basic math, he couldn't fucking do. Like we were trying to figure out how old my dad was, and I was like, all right, well, my dad was born in '59, so he would have been 1 years old at 60. At 1960, which means that he would have been 41 in 2000. And like I worked my way up to like the current year and be like, so he's this many years old. And he
He's
was
like
like,
64 now.
huh? And I was like, how did you not understand that? Like you have wormhole equations on this fucking chalkboard and you can't do this basic math.
Well, you know what? It's probably not that he didn't know how to do it. It was just that like in anything that you do, sometimes when you get really advanced, it's the basic stuff that's sort of like you're so like not thinking about the basic stuff that you start making like careless mistakes and just going really fast, right? And undoubtedly, like when I teach my calculus classes, my differential equations classes and stuff like that, I'll sometimes get the wrong answer, and then I'll be like, well, fuck, what did I do wrong? And I'll look through my problem, which is like basically 2.5 fucking boards. Like when I teach those classes, I have those boards
The
that
boards that slide up and down.
and literally slide up and stuff. So like, it's a differential equations goddamn class. The whole 2 boards or 3 boards are filled with fucking formula.
You need to make sure the kids get that right, because the math coming out of Alabama's got to be right. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, and so like, and then they'll say, yeah, professor, 7 times 3 is 21, not 28. And I'm like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, that's right. So shit.
No, your easy thing to do. I was just testing you guys to see if you noticed. That's what that is. Yeah, I knew that.
Throw a fucking book up there. Shut the fuck up, Cletus.
No, I'll tell him. I'll tell him the first. I'll tell him jokingly this, because this is not true. But I'll tell him in joking. I'll say, yeah, I failed math. And they're like, but if you failed math, how the hell are you teaching us? I said, look, even though I failed math, I'm still smart enough to teach you. So what does that say about you?
Like, listen, bro, the real teacher fucking dipped 4 years ago. I was just a temp and I'm still here.
Exactly.
I used to be the janitor. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah. But anyhow, Jeffrey, any care to comment on any of this stuff? As somebody who is a game developer, right? What are you looking for? Like eventually your team is going to grow. What are y'all looking for in a potential person who you might hire to be willing to work for you?
Well, that depends on multiple factors on what we're looking for. Honestly, I really haven't been paying much attention. I've been dealing with my puppy. She's a little badass. But I mean, when it comes to the company, when we look for employees, we don't just care about the amount of education that they have. We want employees that are going to be happy amongst us and among our ranks. And that's what we intend for our company to basically be, is a place that employees feel happy and want to stay. We don't want to be like any other company out there. We want to make it unique for them.
Okay.
They also need to have long legs and 34 triple D.
Yeah, they have to have nice tits that are not polygonal in nature.
They need to look like Christina Hendricks and Mad Men, and they get any position they want.
Everything that's south belongs in the south. Everything that's up north belongs up north. Nothing that's south is north, and something that's supposed to be north is south. Yeah, main thing. Yeah. So. Yeah.
But to answer your other question about what I've been taking from it, I suck at math. I was only in 6th grade math in high school. I really suck at it. Everything else, I used to have perfectly. I used health, science, history, everything perfectly but math.
Oh, really?
You know what's funny about that, Jeffrey? When I was going through school and started, to be good at computers, you have to be good at math. I was the, no, you don't. Guy.
No, but like, okay, so you're saying that, right? Because Cerebral, you joke with that, right? I have a lot of kids especially my high school classes, and these days and times more than most, especially if you ask young males as to what they want to do post high school, undoubtedly in a class of 30 kids, I would get at least 15 kids who will tell me, oh, I want to be a game developer, and so I tell them that, well, you still do definitely need to know how to do these equations because, like, for example, I mean, I would presume that when you're doing bullet physics or programming for bullet physics or any projectile physics, do you not need to know how to work with quadratics and stuff like that? Because
Not
otherwise, how would you
necessarily
do the
anymore.
algebra?
Not necessarily anymore. See, when I was, remember when I was starting to do it, it was 1979, 1980,
Mhm.
1981. So it was basically all programming, and that's why they said because you had to know that stuff.
Right.
Now they
Yep.
have now they have the programs to do that stuff for you. You have Unreal Engine 4. You tell it, okay, I'm shooting a projectile from this weapon. I want it to go this fast and have this much force, and I want it to do this, and the program does a lot of that work for you. You don't
Oh,
need to sit there and break down the stuff because it's already been broken down. It's already got the modules in it to tell it what to do with that projectile. You know?
oh, okay. All right. I did not know that. I thought you still had to sort of like physically go in and program that crap in there.
I'm
And
sure you can tweak it for your, but it has a basic algorithm in it to know, you're shooting a gun. Here's how that, and then you can look up online, and they do. That's why they're able to, in a game, they tell you, okay, you're using the AK-47. It shoots this type of bullet. The bullet goes this fast, has this much force. All that is in the game. You know.
oh,
So.
okay. I did not know that. Is that true for like any engine, or is it like just specific
Well,
for
no,
Unreal?
no, it's true. Well, a lot of the engines have it now because they have modules they can add into it. I think even Unreal is modular in a sense. I don't know the game developer here may know more about that, but they have different things for depending on what you want to do in your game. You know.
Yeah, and that is the honest truth. Every engine is different from what I've learned from my coder, which he will be joining us here in about 30, 40 minutes tonight. From what he's told me, each engine is different, and it does have different effects. Like Unreal Engine 5 can make it to where if you're 1,000 meters away shooting a sniper, it can make it to the point where it actually drops, and it's all done by the system and programming.
Oh,
So
oh,
the
really?
bullet, just like in real life, the bullet drops because that's what's going to happen over distance.
See, and see, the thing that I do
Whoops.
is that like because everyone says, when am I going to need this, right? Like that's the consistent question I get. And to be honest with you, what am I going to tell them? No, you're never going to fucking need this, right?
Well, it
So
depends on what they end up doing. Seriously, I mean,
yeah.
it may come in handy because the programmer can look at it and go, okay, that's not quite doing it the way I need it to do it, and yeah,
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I do. I mean, like, I say, okay, well, if you're talking about projectiles, anything that you do here, you're gonna anything you do on a planet Earth has to obey some sort of like,
yeah.
parabolic flow, or anything that you throw, anything that is projectile in nature is going to follow a parabolic path. And that's why if you want to know where that thing is going to end up, you need to know how to work with quadratics.
By the way,
I mean, that's just one example.
just because they plan on doing programming, they could end up doing working in a ballistics lab for a police department or something, where you do
Well,
need to know that stuff because
well, Well, also, like one of my friends, he got a mechanical engineering degree from Georgia Tech, but the job market at that time sort of sucked. So he thought he was going to go into like sub programming for like some of these major corporations or like EA or something like that. So he
right.
got his computer programming license, but he ended up working for a company that to do SQL databases all day long. So
Fun
that
time.
Oh,
requires
wait,
a
wake me up when it's over. Holy
Yeah,
crap! No.
right. Fucking
well, I mean,
waterboard me before giving me that job.
well, I mean, but at the same time, that is
Yeah.
like, but at the same time, that's a more stable job than game
Oh yeah.
developing, I guess. Right? I mean, it may not be
Yeah.
sexy and like cool
It's
and
not
all,
even for
but
me. It's not even about sexy. It's like I would be glazed over after about an hour. It's like I have no fucking clue, dude.
but dude, if
You
you have no
just
fucking
find Paul
job,
dead at his desk with a fucking fly on his eye.
but if you have no fucking job, I mean, it's
Yeah.
a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, right? Like, so you'll be like, well, fuck, at least this puts food on the table. It may not be exactly what I want to do, but at least this puts keeps a roof over my head and food
for
in my
me,
stomach,
it would mean that bird shit in my hand. I'm just,
Yeah. This
I
guy's
mean,
got
you're right.
bird
A
shit in two
job is
hands now.
a job is a job, but I would immediately be looking for something better. You know.
Well, yeah, I mean, everyone sort of does that, right? Like whenever you keep your job, and then you always keep your eyes to the ground to see, okay, if there's anything more lucrative out there for me that is better for me, right? So that goes without saying. But and apparently with SQL databases, apparently you need to know math. I don't know. I don't ever work with SQLs and stuff like that, but that's what he was telling me. So
yep.
Go ahead, be it.
Oh yeah, databases I hate them.
All right, Jim, what's up, boss? How you doing? How was your week? Did you pick up anything? Are you drinking anything? And also, go ahead and be so gracious as to let us in. We've already met Jeffrey before you came in, so introduce.
Yeah, he's been talking shit about you the whole time, so it's cool.
Oh my God, you don't even want to know the truth.
Yeah, I know. I know. But I mean, in return, I tend to talk shit about him as well. So
yeah, but he's CEO. He's CEO, bro.
Okay,
yeah,
and I'm the co-CEO. So
okay.
Fire in the hole.
It works both ways.
Yep. Oh, the jokes I can make with that one.
he put it in his little title there. I can see it.
Yeah, he made sure everyone knew that he was a fucking CEO. Okay, that's all I gotta say.
He's more legitimate. I can see it there.
Chief executing officer, and underline the word fucking executing. Okay, that's all I gotta
say. As far as what did I pick up? Well, I picked up my vape. What am I doing? Smoking it. Let's see. And what am I playing? Well, looks like I'm playing Twitter yet again. Oh well. Chuck that in the bin. And yeah. That's more or less it. What was the other questions, Wize?
Can you introduce us to the rest of your podcast mates?
Your
game developer mates.
I'm probably pin the dick on your mom.
So, as you already know, Jeff is the CEO, and he's holding the true co-CEO in his hands. I am obviously Jim, the I guess co-owner, co-CEO, whatever you want to call it, and then to that side, well, on my screen it's yeah. That side is Nick. He's one of the people that kind of helps out doing, I guess, oddball jobs and organizing paperwork, making sure that things.
So Nick is the company bitch. Okay, got it. Hi, Nick. How you doing?
Yeah. How you doing? That's the coffee.
Yeah. So he's kind of like unofficially the HR, I guess, unofficial. He basically just helps me and Jeff and Al kind of keep everything organized where it's like, okay, what do we got? What do we need? What are we doing? Who do we have? And then just kind of helps ensure that things are flowing in the direction that they need to flow in to ensure progress.
Oh, okay, cool.
I will be muted for right now. Unfortunately, my parents are feeding the dogs, so they're going off.
Oh.
Earlier was I wanted to take a fucking shot and flung my headphones off my head.
All right, Nicholas, that was a sorry ass introduction by Jim, by the way. So can you please give us a little bit of your role and what do you do, et cetera, like that? Because Jim apparently does not know how to introduce people. So
I mean, I could have made it worse if you really wanted me to.
Yeah, I wanted fucking worse, man, dude.
He's like I've never seen that man before. I don't know who he is.
No, well, I don't know who he is. How'd he get in here again?
The link in our DMs.
Take it away, Nick.
Get away? Okay.
No, I said take it away. As in,
give it away now.
Well, I mean, if you're going to give away money, sure, I'll take that.
Basically, he did simplify it where I have everything written down.
He sent me a gallon of Fireball whiskey as well, Paul. I was like, Jesus Christ, bro.
Hey, if you're gonna do something, you gotta do it right. That's all I gotta say.
I heard some beeping. I was like, what is that noise? I went to my front door. A truck just pulled up to my house and a fucking ramp flew out and Pitbull came out salsing all the way down the ramp saying Dolly and howling like a goddamn wolf, just carrying gallons of Fireball whiskey. I was like, holy shit. Thanks, Wize.
Well, hey, if you're gonna do something, you're gonna do it right. That's all I gotta say. I mean, yeah, I want you guys to have more than just like one fucking swallow of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So
This will last me a while. I appreciate it, man.
no problem, no problem. That's the least we could do. That's the least we could do.
Why? Tell me there's Christmas decorations in the background right now.
What?
Tell me there's Christmas decorations in the background.
Yeah, actually, to be honest with you, yeah, it's like I have the weirdest looking tree because I got all like this tree. Hold on, let me see something if I can show it to you guys. Hold on, give me one.
Yeah, Mr. Jim doesn't like Christmas.
It better be Alabama pine. It better be Alabama pine.
No, it's Walmart plastic. Sorry.
Oh,
it's gotta be a Douglas fir, bro. A Douglas fir.
No, but let me show you guys this tree. Okay, it's pretty cool. Like
I was all about the RGB lights when I was a kid, but as I got older, I don't like the RGB. It's all gotta be white lights.
Well, I mean, it's got a lot of the different stuff in there. Like for example, I got the Dreamcast guy. I got a bowl of ramen. I got that's my little boy. I got your Mario up here. Mario
good.
going. Coffee. That's the original Zelda
Starbucks.
Cartridge. The
gold one.
Yeah, the gold one, right? There you go.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, so I got that. And hold on, you're probably not gonna hear me. I'm gonna show you guys some of the other stuff. Hold on.
Jim's not happy.
I prefer the old school lights we grew up with. When one light went out, they all went out, so you had to sit there and spend an hour trying to figure out which bulb was bad.
Yeah, which single bulb went wrong. Yeah.
The song I so want to sing right now.
No.
Yeah, especially the old Christmas lights, the big bulbs, well, they were a pain in the rear end when it came to push and shove.
My dad solved that problem when he just stopped taking them down off the house every year. So every year he'd go up and find the bulb that went out and change it. He would.
So yeah, that's my tree basically in a nutshell. Nice. So yeah, we started this tradition when we first moved into the house.
Cracker shell.
Yeah, well, we started a tradition when we first moved into the house. It was one where so every year we would buy like 4 or 5 ornaments that was relevant to stuff that happened to us that year. And, we just started doing that. And we had the generic, the little, I don't know what they make the freaking ornaments out of. But, those little big packs of ornaments that you go and get at Walmart for like $10. And it's like a big old drum of just generic ornaments.
You mean the ones that end up you buy for $10 and then by next year after you pull them out of storage, they're like half broken?
Exactly.
Like
yeah,
ceramic,
ones,
like
right.
Most brittle ceramic, whatever the fuck they're made out of.
Yeah,
right.
They're the ones that I just barely touch and they fall apart in my hand. It's like, bro, really? The song I so want to sing right now.
No, that's not it.
Please
don't.
Please don't.
I mean, it was like talking about, like, for example, so those things that you could look at them, half of them already broken when you buy them from Walmart for the first fucking time, right? But anyhow,
crack when you look at them.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, but they're stupid, ugly, and every fucking tree has the same ones, right? So we thought, let's just buy something different. Like let's literally make this tree a Christmas tree that's relevant to our family, So that's what we started doing. And now it's actually, it used to be a fucking chore putting up the tree, right? And every year I always debate with the idea whether I'm even going to do it because the kids are getting older and it is what it is. But I now actually enjoy making the tree every year and look forward to it because whenever I dig out these ornaments again, it's nostalgia. Basically, you think back, oh, this is what motivated me to buy this. This is what motivated me to buy this year. Oh yeah, remember several years ago we had gone on this trip. That's why we bought this ornament. So it's almost like, it's like you're taking basically a snapshot of your life when you put up the tree. So it was a pretty cool idea. And it worked out well. Now we don't have any of the generic ornaments because we have so many of the unique
Special
ones that we don't need the generic ones anymore. So
I never minded decorating the tree. I hated assembling the tree because we had a 14-foot tree. I think you said you also used to have a 14-foot tree. But so getting the top piece on the tree was like an episode of fucking Jackass where you're just trying to lean over because the bottom is so wide that you're nowhere near the center and you're just on the top rung of the ladder trying to reach over to get the top on. What a pain in the ass, man.
At least that's all you had to deal with. I had to deal with a tree that was like double that height.
Yeah.
An artificial one that was double that?
No, it was a real one, but still. I mean, hey, thank God I had cherry picker trucks.
Yeah, for sure.
No,
Yeah.
it was
Hey, boss, I'm gonna need to borrow the cherry picker. Why? Tree. Oh, well, all right.
Corey Smith. Jesus Cristo Day.
And you know the goddamn star. That star every fucking cartoon or Christmas special you see, they put the goddamn star right on top of the damn tree, and it stays there. That fucking star doesn't stay up there. I don't know how people just put a goddamn tree on this.
Because you got this little ass fucking one little spire that comes out of the top of the tree. It's one little piece of basically. It's like, what do you call it? This little bendy straws, or what the fuck it's made out of, or those little felt covered ones. It doesn't hold up shit. It can sustain all of like a quarter of a pound of weight, if that.
If I ever live in a place again, even though I'd have to pay people to do it, I'm getting a real tree because I like the smells and stuff. Artificial can do it for me. It's not.
Yeah, but the problem is that they become fire hazards and
I know. Trust me.
The needles. So
remember, children, water your trees.
My grandmother had one fire one Christmas while she was at my birthday party. They went home and it was burned down, and it was because it was a phony tree and the thing shorted out and lit on fire. So
but you can get now, Paul. You can get candles, air fresheners, and even shit you can boil on your stove that'll fill your house with that pine needle scent without having to worry about the mess and the possible fire hazard.
And also, if you have pets in the house, those little pine leaves are actually toxic to them.
Yeah.
So like the cat, literally, if I keep my office door open, that cat will literally live under that fucking tree. He just sits there and just sits there.
Oh, yeah.
Like
my
it's
cat
his
would
own
climb
fucking
inside
tree.
the artificial tree, like it was a fucking boys club, just chilling inside the tree.
Yeah. And that's what cats do, right? But heaven forbid, if it's a real fucking tree, that cat eats it and it's fucking dead. And then my kids and my wife look at me like I fucking killed the cat,
we had a
I'm
cat
guilty
growing
of
up.
once killing a dog.
The cat was smart enough not to eat the fucking tree.
No,
okay, I mean for like years and years and years and years. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't think my cat is that smart. I mean, it matches everybody else in the house, so it sort of works out, though. So it's okay. We don't need the animal to be.
I mean, I'd be more worried about your kids eating the tree than I would about the cat.
No shit. Yeah, you're not kidding. But at least if they die, at least I save some money. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. Well, sir, what happened, Alabama
I don't want my
kids?
kids to die. I'm just saying,
Born and raised in Bama. It's what happens.
Yeah. No. What's gonna happen is those kids will get fucking sick, and then I gotta pay. I'm on the hook for the doctor's bill. That's the problem, Shit, these days sometimes the doctor bills are fucking ass and stuff.
Oh, they're insane. My fucking hospital bills for my my spinal fusion and stuff after my motorcycle accident was $785,000. I was in the hospital for roughly 2.5 weeks, almost 3 weeks, but still $785,000. You insane?
Dude,
sounds about right.
Where my parents stay, they live almost like spitting distance to a hospital here, right? My father had a situation where he had to go in the ambulance to the hospital. That drive, I would say, is no more than 2 miles at best. That ambulance bill, which was charged separately, mind you,
probably about $2,000.
Was close to $2,000. Yes. I'm like, what the fuck?
Bro, I had these bandages that were putting over my spinal fusion site. They're called Silvadine. They have some type of silver inside of them to help promote healing. And they would change those twice a day. Each one was $200.
Shit.
It's insanity what the shit costs, bro.
We're talking about the video game industry taking advantage of us, but fuck,
Oh,
medical does it all the time.
Yeah. Well, any specialized industry. You look at children's clothes, bro. You go buy a pair of Jordans as an adult, shit's like $300. You buy a pair of Jordans for a kid, still $300, even though it's like an eighth of the material.
Exactly.
So children's shit, medical, anything that's quote unquote specialized, they rob your ass. Same thing with like my wheelchair. My wheelchair is, it's titanium. It's a nice wheelchair, but if you were to buy like a nice titanium bike, $2,500, $3,000, maybe. My wheelchair was over $13,000. It's just a bicycle in a chair shape. Like, why is it $13,000? And the fucked up thing is the insurance paid for it, but insurance wasn't going to pay $13,000. So the company sold it to the insurance company for like $4,000. And it's like, what about the other $9,000 you would have charged somebody else? They're already making their money on the $4,000, bro. They're robbing people.
That ain't nothing. My father has a bad knee, so he needed a stick to walk. So we went to a medical supply place and they had this generic walking stick, which is like made out of fucking aluminum. And that fucking stick alone was like close to $1,500.
Oh,
and like you go outside and get yourself just a regular fucking cane, you can get one for like $80 off of Amazon, you know?
Yeah.
And that's all it was.
Yeah.
I could pick them up for like $10 at CVS. Plus, you know, when I used to run ambos, half the time I'd sit there literally before I pull the ambulance out of the bay, I'd write up the whole bill and everything and send it to the person that sends them out and be like, there you go, charge it. This is the distance. Here's mileage. Here's start, and send them the bill. And then I would hit the go pedal.
I put compression hose on my feet because I'm not, putting pressure on my feet to help with circulation. And they sent me to a place to go get like sized or fitted or whatever. Anyway, they sold us these compression hose, and they were $90 a pair. And immediately after we left, because we're like, dude, that's fucking insane. We looked online on Amazon, you get it for like $20-$30.
Yep.
But they'll charge you $90 at the fucking place for socks, basically. It's ridiculous, dude.
Hi, welcome to the medical center. Please bend over. We're about to take your wallet. And we might give you a reach around, maybe.
And I want to say something to what Supernova said about the Nikes and stuff. Yeah, I do agree with that. Luckily, where my town is, I'm in Martinsburg, West Virginia. Our little town has a store called Gabe's, which is where I work at. They have Nikes and stuff for like half the price of what they would be at like Walmart, Target, and other retailers.
Yeah, but is it because they're defective though?
No, they're perfectly brand new. We just buy them from the companies at discount price.
Yeah, it's basically it's their version of TJ Maxx, if you know what that is.
Oh, okay. So well, it's like Ross and all that other shit.
Yeah, but Ross and Marshalls and like TJ Maxx, I don't know how they do it there, but here in Arizona, those stores, they get all their items because there's some type of defective thing that's like missing a button or the hem's in the wrong place, or it's something minor, but enough to where it's not going to be 100%, and that's where they get them. I don't know if it works that everywhere else, but like that's the way Ross and shit works here.
Speaking of Arizona, I was actually thinking about like this spring break, which is around the end of March for us here, flying out to Arizona because don't they have all of the spring training for all of the baseball teams, the MLB teams out there?
We get a bunch of teams out here to do spring training.
I mean, I know, like for example,
like the Mets do spring training out here.
The Mets do. Teams. I think the Braves do, and I want to say also the Cubs, isn't it?
Possibly. I honestly don't know. Plus, I mean, you can always go to Lake Havasu, see some titties.
Yeah, and see the London Bridge that they brought there, right? Shit.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Lake Havasu, so fucking weird. The real life titty bar.
Like, yeah, like how weird is that? They just dropped London Bridge like in the middle of fucking nowhere. And like, don't even like do anything special with it. It's literally just a regular bridge. Like, you wouldn't know that was London Bridge unless someone told you, "Hey, that bridge is London Bridge." It's just a regular bridge.
I just want to know how the fucking story happened. Like, how do you pick up a bridge and then move it of all places to Lake Havasu?
Stone by stone, if I recall correctly. They actually disassembled it.
You must have been stoned to move it to Lake Havasu. Like, you had to pick. You got all these other places in the world to pick, and you picked Lake Havasu of all places. Like, what the fuck do you think?
Bro, it would have been easier just to fucking build a new bridge and be like, "Hey guys, look, it's London Bridge." That would have been far easier than shipping rocks across the country to rebuild this fucking thing.
Not across the fucking country, mind you, across the goddamn
across
ocean.
The world, across the world, yeah. Across the world.
All right. So guys, Mr. Nicholas and Mr. Jeffrey, this is just the way the podcast goes. We started off with gaming, we ended up talking about medicine, and we all ended up finish up with Lake Havasu and then London Bridge.
Yeah, I'd just like to let you guys know, don't mind the massive pile of train cars, locomotives, and things that derailed. They kind of went off the rails, literally. Just like our conversations.
We always go off the rails. In fact, when we're on the fucking rails, that's when I'm getting kind of concerned.
Positive is what I like to call our show. We're tangentially positive.
Yes.
We get around to it when we get around to it. That's all it is. We let people say what the fuck they want to say, and then we get around to the topic when we need to, right? And if we don't get to the topic, well, fuck it. We don't need to talk about it then.
Just heads up, if I'm getting sauced up, I'm going to be the cells of today. If I'm getting sauced up, just letting you know.
Well, Cells is supposed to be coming in here. She's probably passed out drunk from yesterday anyway, so shit, you know. Ooh, either that or she's dealing with family issues because, Thanksgiving is a good time for that, right? So there you go. But, oh well.
Yeah, baby daddy.
All right, so the week that was this week, a couple of interesting things happened. First, KOTOR is sort of everywhere. Some
DOA?
people are KOTOR. Some people are saying the remake is canceled. Some people are saying that the remake is still going on, but we don't know when it's going to come out.
Okay,
Yeah.
all he's officially said is there's nobody working on it at this time. He hasn't said it's outright canceled. He just said it's nobody's, officially, it's not moving forward at this time. In other words, they're working on other projects. That's all he's officially said.
From what I've heard is the guy that said that is he heard from the Sony side of the equation that's what's happening, that nobody's working on it, it's not moving forward. But when it came to the actual side of the developers, they said no, we're still working on it. But it's possible that Sony may have stepped away from the project for whatever reason. But until someone says something official, I don't think we'll really know what the hell's going on. But either way, the situation is a bit odd to be.
Even Jez immediately jumped on to it. Nope, it's canceled forever. I'm like, don't say that. That in his own article, that's not what it said. I'm like, dude.
Don't you get it, Paul? If you don't have hyperbolic, headlines, you're not going to get them clicks, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand canceling a game after it's announced. We've had plenty of those happen in our lifetime. That's not a big deal. I mean, things happen, but I can understand canceling a game that's a new IP because you just don't know and you don't want to sort of stick your neck out like that financially. However, this is a game that has pedigree and everyone is wanting this game. And like, it would seem like a no-brainer to make it. I mean, case in point, like look at Nintendo. Nintendo is fucking living off of the last fumes of the Switch only through fucking remakes. They remade fucking, what's that game called? Super Mario RPG. They're making another Princess Peach game. They sort of, you could say, remade Super Mario 2D in Super Mario Wonder, so that they're living off of fucking remakes.
While that IP and that game may hold some pedigree, I don't think that the developers have pedigree to equal what that game is. Not to say that they're a bad developers or bad studio. I just don't think, like, if you were we're gonna remake this super popular RPG, Star Wars RPG at that, like, that wouldn't be the studio that I would say, yeah, I'd give them the project, right? So maybe it's just too much for them to handle, until someone says something on the record, we just won't know. But it is one of those things where it's like, they're the guys doing this. Okay, we'll see how it turns out.
Wasn't it Aspire is a developer of that game? Aspire?
I think it's somebody else. I'll look it up real quick. I'll be the oracle of the chat.
I thought it was Aspire, and it was kind of weird when they first made the announcement. I mean, they just showed basically a 2-minute, not even a 2-minute, like a 30-second CG trailer.
Yeah, it was all CG, dude.
Yeah. So I mean, I when I saw it was Aspire, I'm like, I don't really remember anything that they've done prior to this, but it does seem like a pretty tall order for them to. It seems like they bit off more than they can chew type situation. I'm all for ambition, but there's a lot of eyes that's going to be on this. Number one, like if you just look at fanboys, PlayStation fanboys are salivating at the mouth at this prospect because it is an originally an Xbox exclusive that is now coming actually exclusive to PlayStation. So of course
a bunch of guys that never played the original game and probably will never buy the fucking remake like, yeah, it's amazing. Like, bro, you don't even know what the fuck the game is. Shut up,
like, dude. The only thing you ever play is Madden.
Yeah, it looks like it's Saber.
Is Saber?
Saber with something having to do with Embracer. But yeah, Saber's
that's what it looks like. It's on
yeah. It's like, again, you don't want to sell a developer short because they've never released anything, but at the same time, you're like, it's kind of like who's that company that's doing the Silent Hill 2 remake? What's that guy? They just made an exclusive for the Xbox.
I don't. No, it's not. Silent Hill remake.
Yeah, they're doing a Silent Hill 2 remake. Aren't they? It's not Bullet Team.
Not exclusively for Xbox, though, because the Silent Hill remake got announced, I think, for not exclusively for PlayStation, but at a PlayStation event.
No, they were announced for a PlayStation event. It's not an exclusive, but they're making Blooper Team. Blooper Team is the one making Silent Hill 2, right? Remaking Silent Hill 2.
I don't think so. Is it? I gotta look that shit up now. God damn, you give me homework.
Well, I mean, I thought it was Blooper Team, and I'm like, Blooper Team. They made that other game for Xbox, and it was a okay game. I mean, it was good, but I don't know. Silent Hill 2 seems like a tall
No,
order.
I think Bloopers is PlayStation first party.
Are you sure about that?
Oh, not Blooper. Who the fuck? No, I'm thinking Blue Point. I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah, Blue Point is.
I've been
PlayStation
drinking
first
the
party.
Fireball, dude. My bad. Yeah, no, but
Well,
it's
working, and it's good.
uh,
It's not a Chinese knockoff of the Fireball, right?
I'm definitely feeling the buzz. No, it's Bloober for sure, and yeah, and it's PS5 and Xbox. So I don't think it's exclusive, but yeah, they are definitely working on that Bloober.
Yeah, and again, what they've done in the past. Again, you don't want to sell a developer short because they're trying to reach above and beyond themselves, but at the same time, you're like, what do they say? Past performance is not an indicator of future success, but still, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, their last game, you could definitely see the Silent Hill type of influences to where you say, okay, if that team is going to make a Silent Hill game, I can kind of see that working out because the last game they made, which was what the fuck was it called? The one with the dual realities.
Right. It was that there was that shit show going on. Like, oh my god, Xbox is the only one that can do it because of the SSD or some shit like that. Where they had both, like, it was like you're torn between two worlds, and you can switch basically freely in both of those worlds. And the engine was running both worlds at the same time, but it was unfortunately it was not well optimized. So even though it was running both worlds at the same time, it would like kill the frame rate or some shit like that. I don't know.
It would have been better to run one at a time and just be able to lightningly fast switch between the two versus running both at the same time.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyhow.
But I mean, still, you can see the influence there where it's like, okay, I can see that working out.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say that, but I mean, still, like, again, as I said, past performance is not indicative of future success, and it's just like, I don't know, it's just like I would have been more comfortable if somebody bigger was working on it. Maybe, maybe like not that they would ever do this, but like even Kojima, I would have been okay if Kojima would have been taking the Silent Hill 2 throne with his team, with his developers. But yeah, I don't know. Anyone else have anything to say about KOTOR? Okay, well, another one came out this week that Persona 6 will be day and date on Xbox. So that shouldn't be a shock because Sega's always been chummy with Xbox, and Altus, which is a subsidiary of Sega, they started putting some of their IPs on Game Pass, and they say now that whenever Persona 6 comes out, whenever that is, whether it's 2024, 25, 26, 27, whatever, it will be day and date on Xbox. So, and this is, some people are saying this is significant because of the fact that beforehand, all of the Personas that were released were initially released on PlayStation, and then Xbox, it came a long time later. So yeah, it might be a big get. And some people are arguing that this is showing that Xbox is making inroads in the Japanese development culture, and I'm like, you can't really say that. I mean, it's like just because you're good with one developer doesn't mean that every developer still supports you. But anyone have anything to chime in on that one for?
Well, I will say that getting in with one developer there is a like a step in the right direction because
that's a step in the right direction.
They all talk to each other. So if that goes well, they tell the other companies, hey, these guys are fine to work with or whatever. Plus, they want to go where the money's going in the end, Well, yeah, there's the whole culture thing, but at the same time, they're like, oh, wait, there's more players over here now. Okay, cool, we can do that,
Well, like I've always wondered about that. Like, especially it's been brought to light this year with Square Enix and their financial issues, because famously Square Enix had the problem of releasing only on PlayStation. And then they said, well, for example, 16 did not hit as financially successful as it did, and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, because the player base wasn't big enough. Well, no shit.
Yeah, you're alienating half the player base, or not. I wouldn't say half, but you're alienating a significant amount, basically. Right. So, yeah. And so they probably looked at it and they're like, yeah, why in the fuck are we not going on this platform? Even if we're selling 10, that's 10 more than we would have sold had we not been on the platform. And I mean, the chips is, I don't know, I'm not a developer, but it seems like a no-brainer. Like if they're both AMD chips, it shouldn't be that hard to get it running on from the PlayStation to the Xbox.
No, it would have been fine to get Final Fantasy 16 on the Xbox side. The question is, what would the attach rate be for the Xbox side? Statistics say not very much.
Well, even if
it would be more for sure, absolutely more for sure.
I mean, like, let's say if it was 100, like, you know, I mean, obviously it's going to be more than 100, but even if it was 100, that's 100 more than you had for a very minimal input,
for sure,
right?
more than 100 for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, 100 is better than none, I guess. I don't know.
For a game like Final Fantasy, you'd get a pickup of thousands. I mean, it wouldn't be an insignificant number.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
At that point, like we need to understand the financials of it. Like, okay, did PlayStation give you enough money to offset what sales you may have gotten on the Xbox side? Like we don't know the info.
Yeah, we don't. And apparently it wasn't because of either the fact that they've either thought that, oh my God, we're going to sell 30 million copies, or their projections were higher than they actually.
I think they thought Forspoken was going to do a lot better than it did, and Forspoken was pretty much DOA. Nobody bought that shit. Nobody played that shit.
Well, that's because it was broken. It was for broken.
No, it was for
broken. It was for lonely too.
I played the demo of that game and I was like, yeah, no sir, you ain't getting $1 out of me for that shit.
No, what happened was, remember they released didn't they release like a gameplay snippet of the opening world and stuff, and basically people were complaining like, okay, that's all nice and well, you can parkour out the yang, but there ain't nothing else there. Like there was no other animals and everything there, or nothing there to sort of fill the world. Yeah. And people were like, it seems pretty deserted to me. You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't. I mean, I can't speak to the later worlds or what comes later, but from like the opening areas and what was available in the demo, it's a world devoid of life. There's nothing there. It's boring. It's boring.
Yeah. And it seems kind of weird because, like, they were really propping open that game because it was made by the same people who made 15, right? Essentially Luminous Studios or whatever like that. And yeah, 15 wasn't that. 15 was not as good as the other Final Fantasies, but it wasn't the level of Forspoken bad, And I'm like,
and the dialogue was very cringeworthy, and it was very, very repetitive. She would just say the same shit over and over again as you cruise through the open world.
And that fucking glove wouldn't stop talking.
No, shut the fuck up, glove.
Was that a glove or a little bracelet or whatever the fuck she had that was talking to her?
It wasn't Michael Jackson's glove. It wasn't the Nintendo Power Glove. Shut the fuck up.
It would have been better if it was the Power Glove.
Right?
That would have been better,
the glove did. It was both the glove and her. They just constantly had banter that it was never funny, but it was repetitive over and over again. So you heard the same non-funny jokes over and over and over again. And like in that short period of time I had with the demo, I was like, dude, if the whole game is like this, fuck that. I will kill myself.
Yeah.
And I was going to mention, by the way, Persona 5 has just dropped on Game Pass the other day. So,
Persona 5 or Persona 5 Tactics?
I can verify that right now because I'm looking at my screen.
That's another series I couldn't get into. I always hear about how great Persona is, and I tried Persona.
Oh, Persona 5 Tactics. I don't know what
I lasted all of about 30 minutes in, and I was like, nope, ejecto Cedo, cuz get that shit off my heart.
But you're not much of an RPG guy, or are you, Super?
No, I do love RPGs. I just don't like that style of RPG. Like, I don't want to play a high school simulator.
What's funny is like I'm not a Like a Dragon fan, but I pretty much I might almost 1,000 Like a Dragon Gaiden just because
I could stomach Like a Dragon 1,000 times more than I could a Persona 5 or Persona 5 Royale, no matter how great I hear that it is.
Yeah, I mean, I get that game. Okay, full disclosure, I am a RPG enthusiast. I mean, that is actually my genre of choice: RPGs and platformers. Those two, right? And even with Persona, it took me up till Persona 5 to really get into the series. I never got into all the other bullshit series like 4 and 3. And no take away from those games. I mean, I guess they're good, and I'm going to go back and maybe play them again and see, but I never, like, 5 was good. I mean, was it great? Like everyone's making it out like it's the best thing since sliced bread. No, it's a decent RPG, but yeah, I mean, but I can see that where it is an acquired taste because, yeah, that game, you sort of have to. It's different. It's like if you're into all of that Japanese culture and you're an otaku guy of sorts, then maybe it'll be something that you'd be sort of interested in. But if you're not one of those types of people, then yeah, I mean, it's probably not for you. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know because I love Japanese culture. I just that game just did not grab me at all. I couldn't deal with it. I
Yeah,
tried.
but for those people who are excited about the game, it is coming out day and date whenever it's supposed to come out on the Xbox as well. So that was a pretty significant thing, actually. What else happened this week? It was kind of quiet week for news. A couple of other things that were also of significance, and we are going to get to the Sony lawsuit in a second. But before we get to that, David Filoni helms Star Wars. So anyone have anything to say about that? Is that a good move, or do y'all think, oh my God, Star Wars is
No, that's a great move. Filoni, hopefully he'll do good by it.
Yeah.
Better than Kathleen
Yeah.
Kennedy ever did.
Oh, better than Kathleen Kennedy, 100%. But I mean, Ahsoka wasn't that great.
I liked it. I enjoyed it for what it was. I thought it was pretty well done, actually, personally. But
Fair enough. I if you liked it, cool. I didn't. It's weird because I feel like where Mandalorian started with Jon Favreau, the direction that it felt like it was going and the momentum it had, I feel like it's kind of just stalled out, and now we're doing the same mundane, repeat bullshit that Disney's been doing.
Mhm.
You know, these last couple of years, regardless of whether it's Filoni or Kennedy or whoever. And it just feels like that secret sauce is gone. That magic is gone. I don't know what it is. For me, anyway.
Do you know one
but see,
genre?
I like for me,
Go ahead.
Ahsoka add more to the background story stuff outside of the main line. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
and it's kind of funny that they, you know, you'll notice the name of the son, the child, is Jason, which was taken from the expanded universe, the stuff we're never gonna see, because Jason was the name of one of the twins of Leia and Han, spelled with a C and everything. So, and he was a Jedi as well. And this Jason is a Jedi as well, or a Force sensitive as well. So I don't know where they're going, but they're reaching into the EU a little bit,
They're
which some
definitely
of us
reaching
have
into the
wanted them to
EU.
do.
Well, to be honest with you, they had no right to basically come out and say EU was null and void when they first bought the franchise. I mean,
Yeah.
the extended universe.
Oh yeah,
was
they
rich.
took a hatchet to everything. They're like everything is no longer canon. Oh, that no longer canon. This no longer canon. Nothing is canon anymore. They
Yeah.
fucking took everything to the wood chipper.
Yeah.
But and I think what motivated them was they saw that these are really compelling stories. Let's go ahead and call them not canon. Take it all internal, and as we need stories, we'll just go back and release all these fucking stories and call them canon again. You know.
The problem is Kathleen Kennedy had no real background in Star Wars. She was not a fan. She had no fucking clue. Yeah.
Just put in a gay chick and make it more lame.
Yeah.
There was a story I read several years ago. Shoot, I don't want to say it was even before I think I got married. It was a story about like after Order 66, and there was this I don't know what they call them from the the people that were hunting down the Jedis, the straggling Jedis that were left. I forgot. Inquisitors, yeah,
Inquisitors, yeah.
Yeah. And there was this inquisitor set to this planet, and the people that were living on this planet was worshiping this idol. And this idol, when you look at it, was a statue of a little kid, and it was a little kid. And this little kid was like this super force sensitive person. And it was a really good story because the inquisitor had to kill this little boy, but couldn't bring themselves to do it. They were having a moral dilemma, but then in the end, the boy ended up killing the inquisitor. So,
yeah,
I thought that would be a cool story. I mean, that was a good story. Why didn't they? You know, these
they
are the things
they did. It was called Force Unleashed. You may have played it.
Yeah, there's lots of EU stories, especially from the novels, that could have easily made great games. They just kind of threw them away.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Filoni does something to shake up. I mean, God knows, as you said, they can't do any worse, right? Like, so. But then again, I say that and watch them do something worse. So.
Well, at this point, it's how much power do the powers that be actually have? Because if it is really up to the powers that be, it doesn't matter if it's Dave Filoni or Favreau or whoever. It's going to come out shit
because their hand is being forced by the powers
Right.
that be.
Right. They need to get it away from the whole fucking Skywalker family. Like, I know the Skywalker family is important and all of that, but there's just more richer stories out there. I mean, Skywalker family, to be honest with you, just
A
died.
galaxy far, far away. We're talking about one goddamn family tree. Like, what the fuck are we doing? There's so
Exactly.
many
That's what
stories
I'm
that can be
saying.
told in the Star Wars universe. Look at Jedi Fallen Order. Like, has nothing to do with the goddamn Skywalkers. Why do we have to continually visit the Skywalkers? We don't need to.
Well, even the Mandalorian had nothing to do with the Skywalkers.
Actually,
was
it did.
great.
Actually, it was tied into the Skywalker still, but yeah.
I mean, to an extent, yeah, but it wasn't. That wasn't the
They
whole basic premise of it.
Because of Luke, Vader, and all that, they will always be the center of that. Anything forward from the movies will be the center of that. It's just
It's
because
it's like the same thing with The Last of Us. Talking about The Last of Us going forward, how it needs to be Ellie or Abby or the other Asian trans person. It's like, why? Like, the entire world is dealing with this pandemic.
because
anybody.
But with Star Wars, it's because of the way they've set it up. They would have now. There's a lot of stories to be told before that and after that. They could break away, but they kind of screwed that up with the whole. The most recent set of sequels were absolute trash.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah,
for
so-
sure. Everything after episode 7, I just does not exist to me.
Yeah. So-
Well, whatever they do, they need to do something quick because right now their main IPs, Mickey Mouse and stuff, is not hitting like it used to because pretty much Mario, let's call it a spade. Mario has taken the role of Mickey Mouse in this genre, in this generation of kids.
Mario's they beat the fuck out of anything Disney released all year long with the Mario movie.
Exactly.
Do you mind if I chime in real quick?
Yeah, no. Look, the way
Fuck
we
you.
do
Sit down,
this-
sir.
No.
Yeah, okay.
You have
If
to-
you want
guys have
to chime in, it's a $10 super chat.
No, I mean, honestly, I do agree with what y'all saying about the Star Wars story. I wish they would have kind of went back in time to where the Empire and the Sith Army actually became a thing and showed a story that was away from the Skywalker family, but showed more of how the dark side came to be. Because
They'd have to go way back for that. I've read those books. They'd have to go way back for that.
Give us a true Old Republic game or Old Republic story that's thousands of years before the Skywalkers are ever even a thing. Like, why can't we have that? It's totally possible.
Yeah. They just refuse to because it's all based on money. They want to make a profit, and the thing
is, nobody gives a shit whether or not there's a Skywalker in the movie or not. That's the thing. Is like, why do they attach so much power and leverage to this one name that honestly nobody gives a fuck about? Whether there's a Skywalker or not in the movie, nobody cares. All they care about is a good tale told in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah,
To be
and I
honest
agree
with
with you on that.
The best, you fucked up royally when, in hindsight, the prequels compared to what you're releasing now is actually good. That's all I gotta say.
I say it all the time. It's like hashtag the prequels weren't that bad.
Exactly.
Oh, I don't know. Episode 1 was still pretty bad. I won't watch it.
There was really, to be honest with you, the best part of episode 1 was the fucking poster they released. Do you remember that?
I love that poster.
We can hate on episode 1 all day, but it brought us Natalie Portman. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
It also brought us pod racing. Thank you. It brought us the Phantom Menace, the Duel of Fates theme.
Right.
Thank you. And Darth Maul. Thank you. Like those 4 things, for that alone, I will always love episode 1, even though it is a shit movie. And then the subsequent movies are also shit. But yeah, it brought us those 4 things where I'm like, yeah, fucking awesome.
Episode 1 I was looking forward to because I saw remember that poster they had that little boy that they had
where's Anakin with the shadow of Darth
Vader. Yeah,
right.
that was
I had that poster. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I still do have that poster, and I thought when I first saw that poster, oh my god, you're gonna see this little boy wreck shit, because you don't.
Well, no, we knew we weren't going to see him wreck shit. We knew we weren't going to see him wreck.
Nah, but they fucked up hiring Jake Lloyd, the kid from Jingle All the Way, to play Anakin Skywalker, who has like the acting like it's always just one
angel. Yeah.
I don't blame him for that. That was the script. That was all Lucas. That was Lucas.
I don't know. I think it's also partially him. Like they could have probably found someone with a little more talent than he had, but the script wasn't a whole lot to work with either. So yeah.
But you know what they should have done with that movie is they should have shown, okay, yeah, this is a cute little kid, but there's a Vader in him. You know, like we're in the podcast and in that not podcasting, that pod racing scene, right? Like he could have just like closed his like when he was going against that other guy who was like beating against him.
Civil.
Right. He could have like closed his eyes and that guy all of a sudden could have been spiraling out of control. And you don't know if he did anything or if he didn't do anything. But there was that hint there that he did some shit that he had no business doing with the force. You know, that those little touches is what it needed, you know, in my opinion.
Well, I know they don't need to, because you work with kids. I've worked with kids. The nicest kid in the world can turn out to be the biggest asshole. And there's never an indicator of it when they're a little kid. Or not never, but there's often never an indicator that nice little sweet or 8-year-old is going to turn into.
You weed that shit out in the casting process. But the other thing that was great was that they got away from the old kendo style of lightsaber battles where it's like tap 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 and then tap tap to like the super fast spinning and twirls and all kinds of shit that makes no sense whatsoever in an actual sword fight, but looks super fucking badass. Darth Maul doing butterfly kicks and shit for no goddamn reason other than the fact that it looks badass. So again, I got to thank the prequels for that.
I gotta admit, I did enjoy the Yoda fight when Yoda was fighting Tyrannus.
Oh,
you know?
dude!
See, and I thought that was ridiculous that the little
it was
around like a rabbit.
He was jumping all over the place.
I mean, but how else would something that small fight and hold its own against something?
At the time, he was the most powerful Jedi in the universe. He didn't have to do shit. Wasn't he fighting Count Dooku?
Yes.
Yeah. No, he wasn't fighting. I thought he was in the end. Yeah, he was it Dooku?
It was Dooku.
He wasn't fighting Darth Sidious.
No, it was Dooku. He was fighting Dooku at the time.
Unlimited power. You know, it wasn't Sidious. I'm pretty sure it was.
Because remember, he was Dooku's master. He was Dooku's master. He was Dooku's master.
You know what I thought was going to happen when he fought the Emperor in the Senate? Now, here you have the Emperor who, you know, only has like one pupil because that's how the Sith do it. But then you have the Jedi who killed, who's more than half of their entire ranks were all slaughtered by.
Oh, Anakin cut those fuckers down.
Yeah. So you thought that, okay, now that there's so much people, like the way they explained the Force is that, okay, since there were so many Jedis, the Force was sort of diluted. Now that everyone's dead, then you should, in theory, think that Yoda would have more Force to work with, right? So he should have been like wrecking some real shit with the Emperor.
Well, it doesn't work like that. It's not the Force is not a pool of stuff they're sharing between them. It doesn't work like that.
No. That's what they made shit super complicated when they're like, oh, by the way, the Force, it's nothing super special. It's do you have this fucking one organism in your body for X amount percentage?
Yeah, that broke it. That broke it. Yeah, that's what broke it.
And the second you could find out what causes the Force, they would have taken metachlorians and instantly made super soldiers. Instantly.
Yep. That's how I've had that exact same thought. I'm like,
or they could have said something. They could have hinted towards midichlorians. And okay, we have this test. It's not 100%. It's not 100%. It's not because people who tend to be Force tend to have this bacteria or whatever in them of a higher amount, but that is not exclusive to people with a Force, nor is it only people with a Force who have it, And is it the only explanation? No, but this is the only marker that we have that sort of gives us any inclination.
It was far more magical when it was like, how does he have that power? I don't know. He just has it. He's a fucking Jedi.
Right.
You're either born a Jedi or you're not. Like that, for me, that was a far better explanation than, you got to have this magical percentage of these bacteria in your blood. And it's like, that's fucking stupid.
Right. Like the best stories are the ones that leave some stuff left to the imagination. Like, for example, like when in Lord of the Rings, when Gandalf came back after he powered up and killed off that demon, when he powered up and went to level 2. But we did not know what Gandalf at level 2 was. He was still doing a little bit more than what he used to, but we knew that we didn't know where he went. If you didn't read the books, you didn't know. And you didn't know to the extent how much he powered up. You knew he powered up, but you didn't really know, So that was a good thing.
Also, I don't know. I can't speak for everyone, but I know for like me and my friends and family growing up watching the original Star Wars trilogy, not once ever had I ever had the conversation of, where did Luke get his powers? How is Luke so powerful? Like, we never had those conversations. We just accepted Luke is a powerful Jedi, just like his father before him. We just accepted that was the case because the movie told us that was the case. We didn't have, where did it come from? Nobody had these questions. It was just accepted. This is what it is.
Right.
Yep, and I can agree with that. That's how it was here too.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like you want to leave a little bit of mystique in your mythos. You don't want to explain off everything because then it becomes kind of dry.
Again, that's where George broke it because he brought in the whole
Yeah.
midichlorian shit. So
To be honest with
became
you, a
a
lot of
fucking
these
magic
guys,
STD.
whether you call it Spielberg or Lucas or whoever, I sometimes do honestly believe that they don't know what the fuck they have. They just stumble across it, you know. It's like the fucking Transformers. They made the goddamn movie to sell to kill off the old toys so they could introduce new toys and sell shit. But that movie has transcended time. They were just doing a fucking ad, an hour and a half ad, and boom, now it's like, you know, ubiquitous into culture.
George Lucas started that shit, man, with the original Star Wars, where he was like, "Hey, listen, I don't care about money from box office sales. I just want, you know, everything when it comes to merchandise." And 20th Century Fox was like, "Oh, okay, dude, you can have that shit. We'll take all the box office." Coming to find out that the merchandise was going to be a billion-dollar industry, and George Lucas laughed his way all the way to the fucking bank. After that, everything became about toys with everybody.
All right. Anyone else have anything to say about this one? Okay. So the next one was a little bit, I wanted to introduce this topic as well, because I mean, we talk about everything. We talk mostly about games. We also talk about, you know, movies and comics as well, but there's also a substantial portion of geek culture that's in books. And I know people don't really read books these days, but certain books, certain series are pretty big. And I think it is important to mention. Speaking of which, with this topic, George Martin, the guy who has written the Game of Thrones series, the book Wize, and we're still waiting for his 6th book.
We're never going to get
Dance
it.
with the Dragons. And he came out this week and he said, yeah, I only got 1,100 pages done in the past 10 years or 12 years. It's been like 12 years since the last fucking book was released. Okay?
Listen, man, when you're a billionaire, there's no fire under your ass to write anything.
Actually, you know what? Honestly, here's my view on what part of the problem is for him. They've ended the series. They ended the series a certain way, so now he either has to work with that or he has to totally break that. You know, so it's going to be interesting to see what occurs there.
If it comes out. If that fucking thing comes out.
That's why I'm saying it may never come out. That's why I'm saying
it'd be nice to see him write something that's new versus continuing the, you know.
Oh yeah, it would be
Fire and Ice.
No matter what he does, it's gonna break. It's gonna piss people off, though. I mean, he's
100%, dude. Fucking, you can't do anything any you know nowadays without pissing somebody off.
So, what do you think? You think that he is sort of? So, what do you think? I think what it is that I think he's afraid a little bit, in the sense that, you know, the tail end of that show. I mean, Game of Thrones, when it was running and it was in its heyday, it was like people were saying this is the best show of all time, right? And now that's up to debate whether you believe that or not. But yeah, they were talking about like as if it was the best show of all time. And then it ended in that shit show of 7th and 8th season where like nothing they did made fucking sense. People were like teleporting themselves everywhere. Yeah. I mean, you know, goddamn ladies riding 3 dragons and one of the fucking dragons get killed by a goddamn boat, you know?
We're giving the kingdom to Sansa? Why?
The one guy they made king said, I never wanted to be king all the way through the fucking series. And at the very end, he's like, yeah, why do you think I came? I'm like, what the fuck?
To answer your question 100%, you know, there's got to be some fear. If you are writing the follow-up to anything that is not only beloved, but has become pop culture beloved, you have to be afraid that is the next thing that I'm writing going to live up to the massive, almost unattainable expectations of the rabid fan base of this IP. So if I was him, I'd be shitting bricks, dude.
Well, and I think that's part of it. Well, that and he needs to figure out how to work in the fact that they had a Starbucks in back in the, you know.
Yeah, and I can agree with
That's right. That's right. That rogue Starbucks stuff.
Yeah.
The movie I couldn't get into.
A Doctor Who crossover.
Yeah.
That would work.
No, yeah, but you think about it, right? You think about it, right? You know, it's like number one, you know, the show ended at a shit storm, right? People were up in arms. People were literally, there was a petition to have them redo the entire 7th and 8th season. You know, there was like a petition going around for that and to HBO. And now he has this follow-up of this book and he doesn't know how, because he gave the show producers the abridged or the cliff notes of what happens at the end. So basically, all of the stuff that happened in the 7th and 8th season pretty much happens, but maybe not exactly the way they sort of put it on film. So he's now probably second guessing himself and saying, well, what the fuck? Did they really not like the ending that bad? Do I go back and change the ending? Do I keep the fucking ending the way it is? What the fuck do I do? And then to compound that matter, he's a fucking billionaire. Why? He's probably thinking to himself, yeah, why in the fuck am I even doing this? Like, what's my motivation? Yeah, he's 60 something
I'm
years
sorry.
old. He's
Was
not
I
in the
supposed
best
to
of
ride
health.
today? I've been doing blow all day and getting blown by hookers. I didn't know I was supposed to ride today. My bad, dog.
Yeah, I mean, so he's probably thinking like, you know what? He's 60 something years old, right? He's not in the best of health. And what's probably going to happen, and I hate to talk about it like this, but it'd be a downer, but you know, posthumously, they're probably going to release that stuff that he did right and put it out there, and it'll be the end of it all, right? He wouldn't be the first author that left the series hanging. Robert Jordan famously did that with Wheel of Time as well. So, you know, he's probably like, well, fuck it. You know, I'm just going to drag this shit on as long as I can. And, you know, when I die, whatever the fuck is going to be, whatever I have written is going to come out.
There's just no real incentive. And also, like, for as popular as, you know, the what do you call it? The Game of Thrones IP is, the books
Right.
never really were. Like, I don't understand
Right.
how, you know, like Harry Potter, I get it. Harry Potter was a massive phenomenon, then became movies, increased the level of phenomenon. But when it comes to Game of Thrones, like, I don't recall anyone really reading those books before it fucking blew up. So he'd have to put all this time and effort into writing these books that are probably not going to sell well. And the thing is, when he has all that money and he's in the later years of his life, where's the incentive? He probably wants to spend it with his children or grandchildren if he has any, doing whatever the fuck he wants and not having to work.
You know, he's based in Arizona. Maybe he's thinking about people in Arizona not getting off their ass and being able to do shit.
I'll go pull over and knock on his door. But what the fuck you doing, George? Jorge?
I mean, it's also like the Jurassic Park series too. You know, they started off with it being in a book, and nobody really looked at it as it being a movie until they came out with it in the early ages, and they did wonders with it, just like they did with the Game of Thrones. Although I don't like the movies, never had. They kind of deviated from the books, which I didn't like yet. I wish they would have kind of stuck with the books, but I enjoyed the books a lot.
Right.
But Jurassic Park, it was a bit different because Steven Spielberg got a hold of the book from Michael Crichton, and he developed it into a movie before the book even really had a chance to do anything. Like, it was already a movie before the book was a bestseller because Steven Spielberg had gotten a hold of it. So that situation is a little bit unique.
And and remember the book they couldn't do sequels if they would have followed the book, because at the end of the book, you know, there's a lot of death that occurs that doesn't occur in the movie.
That book was graphic as shit. A compy ate a baby inside of its crib in the beginning of the book. I was like, holy shit.
You know, the movie changed it so much that he had to basically retcon for the second book, because in the original book, you know, the old man dies. He basically he's Dr. Frankenstein, and his creation destroys him. It's basically the whole story of that.
Yeah, the first movie deviates very, very heavily from the book to where any sequel
and the old man
has no base, you know, has no linkage to the books, because now it's its own thing.
Yep, and the old man was not a cool old man. He was he didn't care about his grandchildren.
He didn't care about his grandchildren or anything.
He was an asshole. Yeah, I'll put my phone and I'll stop in a second.
It's kind of like, I don't know if anyone knows this, but Forrest Gump was a book, and it was a very racial book, actually. You know, it was like the guy, Forrest Gump, was actually an asshole and a racist at that. But they made it into this thing. I'm like, okay, well, this is not really the story, but okay. But I can understand why they did, because I don't think a racist kid with a learning disability would be that popular as Tom Hanks was.
Oh, why not? I mean, you know.
Yeah, I'm not touching that with a 40-foot pole. Okay, I'm sorry. There's some things I'm not. Yeah, I know. Call me a schmo. Call me a wimp.
You know,
call me whatever you want.
Mama says those people are lazy.
Mama said those people like watermelon and fried chicken.
Stupid does, and that motherfucker be dumb. Watermelon eating, cotton picking sons of bitches.
All right. Okay, so speaking of things that are coming out that some people are wondering why the fuck are they even doing it, but I like this is good news, I guess, for those who are interested. Back in the day, one of the first, I want to say one of the first. I don't want to say it was a battle royale. It was more something different than that. It was weird. Um, there was this game I played in the early 90s. It was like the first online type of open game called Star Siege Tribes. Does anyone remember that game?
No,
No, you don't remember Star Siege Tribes?
sir, I do not.
Mr. Jeffrey, you remember Star Siege Tribes, do you not?
Yes, I do. I remember playing it back on Windows 7. It was a fun game.
Yeah, it was literally you were either in it was like either red team or blue team. And basically you were supposed to, and it had the traditional capture the flag or whatever mechanics, right? But you have to understand, back in the day, this was never done. This was like one of the first games to do it. So it was like huge. So you would be either red team or blue team. If you're a red team, you would go in and try to, of course, take the flag from the blue team and vice versa.
What year was this?
Yeah. And this was
I'm asking,
like early 90s? Yeah, in the early 90s.
They were capturing the flag in like GoldenEye and Perfect Dark and all that shit. And even the original Halo, like years and years ago.
No, but
So
this
it must
was
have
the
been
thing
super long time ago.
that was big on this was a massive open world, I want to say open world, but open arena game with squads. Basically, you were like, there was like 50 people on the red and 50 people on the blue. And it became this organized chaos. Like there was supposed to be, the way it was supposed to work was you're supposed to have defined roles for people. Some people would be snipers. Some people would be campers. Some people would be the people who would drive the shuttles back and forth. Some people would be whatever. But what had happened was it became a fucking orgy. You know, all of these people were just everywhere. But it was fun for what it was, right? And this is back in the day when the internet was dial-up. Like you had to fucking,
Oh, damn.
put your phone off the hook, to be able to play this goddamn game. But yeah, it's like, your parents picked up the phone on the other end and you're like, put that fucking thing down. I can play a game, goddamn it. So
Henry, I need to send an email. Shut up, Grandma. I'm on a kill streak.
Exactly. Why is the phone not my father would be like, why is the phone not working? Hello? I'm like, Dad, put the phone down. Hello?
The fax machine is not beeping.
Exactly.
I would thought the fax machine was supposed to be.
Yeah, usually when my parents picked up the phone, it was just the loud screeching modem noises of angry modem.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
what
you
it
and
was.
the phone sex operator.
Back in the day with the 1-900 numbers and shit, yeah. But they're making a sequel to this game. So it's Jeffrey, since you're the only other person apart from me who played it, do you have any input on this?
You fucking
Not really.
dinosaurs.
I'm excited for the new game. I can't wait to get back into it and start playing it again.
Do you think it's going to have legs, or is it strictly all nostalgia?
I think it's going to be all nostalgia, to be honest with you. I don't think they'll really do too much to change it.
Yeah.
Did either of you guys play MAG back on the PS3?
This predated MAG even. This is like we're talking.
I know, but I'm asking if
Yeah.
you ever played MAG back then.
Oh yeah, of course. Everyone.
Not
It
for
basically
me.
it was
I
probably
loved
MAG
MAG.
before MAG. Yeah.
I
No,
was
for
on
100%.
Xbox
It
360.
sounds like early MAG is what it sounds like. It's awesome. I loved MAG.
Yeah, it was predated MAG. It was, as I said, it was organized chaos. I mean, in theory, if you had somebody, I guess, motivated enough to give everybody, all the squad mates, a job, they sort of followed it maybe to a certain extent. But it was fun. It was fun. It was
Well, to
it
the
was
best
good
of
for the
their
time.
abilities.
You basically had to be actual Navy SEALs and coordinate shit in order to get anything done. Otherwise, it was just everyone dies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think what's going to happen is people are going to play it, and it's going to be like, oh well, yeah, I remember this game, and for those 5 people that do, and they'll be
I
done with it
honestly
because-
think nobody's going to remember that IP, I feel, but there's always potential for it to be awesome, which I hope that it is because we can always use a great, online multiplayer.
And that's one thing, like, we were talking about like PlayStation and their live service endeavors. And that's the thing, like, instead of going in and trying to create new IP, they got good IP that sort of lends itself to a good IP that sort of lends itself to a live service game. MAG is one of them. And I'm always wondering why in the fuck wouldn't they just go back and revisit either MAG or SOCOM or They could probably even do something with
Probably
Siphon Filter or
lack of
Resistance.
success for Mag. For SOCOM, I don't know. There's really no reason not to revisit SOCOM, but Mag probably lack of success. Same thing with Resistance. It's just they probably internally don't see that those IP or those games are going to sell enough copies to warrant whatever expenditure they would have to undergo in order to create those games. Which is sad because we know that AAA games, in the modern day are expensive as shit and huge gambles for all of these publishers. So they're all risk averse at this moment. They're like, yeah, no, we're not trying to take any risks. So we as consumers lose out on all kinds of possibilities based on does a publisher want to take the leap or not.
Yeah, that's true. But Triple, do you remember a game called Star Siege Tribes, or does that predate you as well?
I'm sure that predates me. I've never heard of it. Yeah. When it came out.
Nothing predates me. Nothing predates me, but I've never heard of it. So yeah, there you go.
You guys need to. I mean, it's
Dusty Paul says he ain't heard that shit either.
Yeah, now I feel fucking old now. Now when Paul fucking said he doesn't remember, then that's it. Shit. But all right. Last thing for the news of this week, Scream 7, there's a fucking shit show. A couple of people have dropped. Ortega famously is not going to be a part of Scream 7, and this other actress is no longer going to be a part of Scream 7. And rumors are abound that they're trying to talk to Neve Campbell to reprise her role in Scream. So,
who gives a fuck? I
mean, Scream was good. The first Scream was good. The second Scream, you sort of had to do it because the first one was good. After that, it was like...
Actually, I will be 100% honest with you. The last two were actually pretty good.
Yeah,
better than I expected. But Jenna Ortega leaving, I don't give a fuck. Neve Campbell coming back, we're leaving, I don't give a fuck. It is a slasher film. All I care about is how are the people going to die. It's a movie where you turn off your brain and just how are the people going to die and where's the twist for who the killer is. It's the same formula they've been using since the 1980s. So for me personally, I don't care. Plus, she's busy doing Beetlejuice 2 and all kinds of other shit. So let her be.
Yeah. Still fine as hell. I know that she's jailbait, but still.
No, I don't think she is, bro. Is she?
I don't know. I thought she was like 19.
You know, it's weird. In Beetlejuice 2, it's she is in there as Lydia Dietz's daughter. And then Monica Bellucci is in there as Beetlejuice's wife. And I don't know how I feel about that. Like, fucking, why does Beetlejuice have a wife? Even though Monica Bellucci is hot as fuck. Why does Beetlejuice have a wife?
Hopefully they explain it. Because, like, it just seems like, you're making things... I don't even think Beetlejuice really needs a sequel. I don't know why they're doing that as well. I mean, it was a pretty close...
Because money.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's because of money. Everything is because of fucking money.
Hey, listen, right now, I will never be upset with anything that is more Michael Keaton. I love Michael Keaton. I love that he came back in The Flash, even though that movie sucks balls. And I'm always down for Michael Keaton to come back and do something. He was great in Spider-Man Homecoming. See him back as Beetlejuice, I'm all about it. But I am worried about some of the other casting where I'm like, I don't know if this movie is going to focus so much on him as it is other shit. But we'll see, man. Maybe it'll be awesome and blow all our socks off. But I am, as you are, I am a little, worried about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's pretty much the week that was. Anybody have anything else?
By the way, Jenna Ortega is 21, so grass is on the field, play ball.
Well, she's old enough for Boogie to date her, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Anything else that we sort of forgot? Anything that we talked about that anyone wants to mention? Triple, we go ahead, catch you up to snuff. We talked about mainly the main things that sort of happened this week. It was a kind of quiet week, short week. The KOTOR remake is up in air as to its development. Some people are saying yay, some people are saying nay, but we don't know yet. Also, the poor David Filoni coming back and helming Star Wars. George Martin not being able to finish his last fucking book, and Star Siege Tribes coming back. Any of those things that you would like to chime in on before we move on to the main thing that happened this week?
Not really. Truthfully, not really.
All right, cool. All right. Well, the main thing that happened this week was the $1 billion lawsuit against Sony and according to them, their predatory practices. Yeah. Anybody go ahead and start this Shit
I'm
show.
not informed enough on the topic to be able to comment. I have
Yeah.
no idea what
I
it
saw
is.
something about it, but
Honestly,
Me
I don't
neither.
care.
okay.
Do you know anything about it, Triple?
No, I heard something about it on passing, but I didn't really read into it because I'm like, oh, a lawsuit. It's kind of like when people are trying to sue Nintendo or something at some point, and some of these lawsuits against corporations like Xbox, PlayStation, etc., don't really seem to go far. So I don't really pay much attention unless this one's special and different in some way.
Okay, so it is a.
They're guilty. Okay, that's all I gotta say. They're
Well, if it's Sony, it's probably.
Even if it were, like, how does it affect me as a consumer? It really doesn't. So
oh, they'll just raise their prices again. Don't worry about it. Don't worry.
Yeah,
About
it's like,
Fine.
God damn it! No, we got to do Last of Us Part 2-222 remake.
I'm just so glad I don't
Part
play
2
PlayStation
remake,
anymore.
remaster, HD collection, remaster, remake.
You
I
mean to
swear,
tell
we
me
gotta
a
get a combo.
corporation is in it for just the fucking money? Say it ain't so.
Say
Wow, what a thought.
Nintendo's here for your nostalgia, man. What you talking about? They're good guy, Nintendo. What you mean? And they'll sell you
Well-
cardboard though. But yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, I'm an ex-PlayStation player. Yeah, they were definitely in it for the money. I mean, everything was just so freaking expensive. Even when they did like Black Friday sales, like the newest Call of Duty would still be like $50-some when it was $69. So yeah, they're definitely in it for the money. So it doesn't
Hey, man,
surprise me if
a
they've got a
deal is a
lawsuit against
deal,
them.
sir.
Well, the lawsuit, to give you guys catch you up a little bit about what the lawsuit is, a 7.9 billion lawsuit. This is from Forbes.
Mhm.
7.9 billion lawsuit against Sony for PlayStation store prices that doesn't make sense. So they're basically, and it's based off, it's a lawsuit in the UK, not in the United States, and basically talking about how, like, if you go onto their platform and with their games and stuff like that, I think they are price gouging, or they're really charging overpriced for what it should be, et cetera, like that. So
Oh,
that's
you're
mainly-
speaking about that. I knew about that.
It's
Basically,
funny to see all people like, hey, fuck you, CMA, go fuck yourself, you suck dick. And they're like, yeah, go
Yep.
CMA, you get those PlayStation cocksuckers.
but it's just like when Train Sim World 3 launched, it was almost $200. They uppered the price drastically for it.
You say Trains and World 3, is that what you just said?
Yep, Train Sim World 3, it was almost $200. They
Train
do
Sim World
overprice
was
for
that
their
just like the
games.
base game or some type of collector's edition?
I don't know, but next time you
Base
say
game.
that, you'd have some type of rainbow
Base
flag or
game
something.
for
That's about the gayest
$200.
name for a game I've ever heard in my life.
That's why I'm kind of glad I switched over to PC, and I'm sticking with PC. It's cheaper.
So you're
200,
telling me
man.
that in a walled garden where one corporation controls everything, they're not going to price gouge? Wow, what a fucking thought! You know, my God.
Gee, that's not something we didn't realize that would
I mean,
happen.
He who has the gold makes the rules, said nobody ever.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Xbox is doing the same thing as well. So I mean, it's kind of them just trying to beat each other out, is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, isn't part of that Xbox like $29 billion back taxes due to like manipulation of store prices in other
Right,
regions
yeah.
or some shit? So it's,
Well,
I
I
mean,
mean-
they're all playing the same game, dude.
It is, yeah. As you said, this is something that is not endemic just to Sony. Xbox does it. Nintendo fucking is arm and a leg for doing this shit, and Nintendo doesn't even fucking discount their physical games. You know.
Breath of the
And-
Wild came out 350 years ago. It's still $70.
Yeah, that bitch is there. Yeah, and then like Apple does it famously. Is
Oh, yeah.
Google does it. In fact, who in the fuck doesn't do it? That's what I want to know. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Samsung.
I don't know. I'm reading
Samsung's
this Forbes article.
pretty decent with their prices. They're not at like Apple or anything like that. That's one reason why I will not switch from
Yep.
Samsung. Well, yeah.
Well, Samsung, you buy the fucking phone for $1,200, and then that's it. You don't get any more follow up with the operating system or anything. You're pretty much like if they update Android, you might get one more update on Android.
Yeah,
and
you
then
get
you're
it. You
pretty
get it
much
for like
done.
a year, maybe year and a half. iOS,
Yeah.
you'll get updates for years. And not to say that it's better. It's just that that is
Yeah.
a difference
Yeah.
between the two.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's all of these companies are fucking predatory. I mean, like, we went out today and did the Black Friday type shit. I went with the wife, right? And we went to Dillard's, and like all of the shit that would have been on sale anyways, all that crap that never sold to begin with was the crap that was on sale. All the stuff that was good shit was regular price like it was the day before. So you're like, what the fuck is what's the
Bro,
point of all
they
this
just
bullshit?
slap Black Friday sale on a thing and then put the same price and then just say it's 20% off. And people are like, oh my God, it's 20% off, and buy it at the same fucking price it was last week. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. They
Actually,
just
what
see.
it actually what it is, as a person who has all my family's in retail. So the way it actually works is this. So if you go the day before, you get your general 10% off, 15% off the original price, whatever, right? Or you might even get 10% off of a discounted price. So say, for example, you look at something and you'll say it's normally MSRP is say $40, and they'll discount it because it's a little bit older, and they'll discount it to say $35. And then like they'll have another promotion for 10% off that $35. But what happens with Black Friday is they get rid of everything. They get rid of all of the promotions and sales and all the other smaller sales. So then they'll say, oh, you're getting now 15% off the MSRP. Well, 15% off the MSRP is what I was fucking paying yesterday, but it was, already discounted twice over, once on the original ticket and once with the 10% fee. Now you're removing all that shit and you're giving me 15% off. So you're not really giving me a fucking sale. You're giving me the same thing that I'd had yesterday. You're just branding it differently.
The illusion
Yep.
of sale.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Walmart is one company that's good for that. I've worked with them 3 different times, and I've put my foot down, never again. Their Black Friday sales get really chaotic. I'm talking about fighting, stabbing, all the fun stuff. But
you don't understand. I gotta say that $15. I don't care if I get a quick taste.
Dude,
But,
they have
like-
they famously. I was tangent on.
I'm willing to go to jail for this 32-inch LCD TV. Don't you understand?
They were selling a TV today in Walmart. As I said, it was like I don't know what it was. It was either a Hisense or TCL, one of those types of TVs, right? And it was like $200 for a 65-inch TV. Dude, this morning, I was driving by the fucking Walmart near my house. There was a goddamn line of people waiting out in the cold ass weather for that fucking
people are
TV.
idiots, bro. Anybody that really wants deals on shit, like instead of being a troglodyte and going to fucking Walmart on foot, just go online, dude. You'll find the same exact deals online at Walmart.com or Amazon. They will send this shit to your house. You don't have to sit there and get in fucking gang warfare playing Beat It on loop on a fucking boombox as you fight hordes of fucking other shoppers trying to get the shit that you want. You just get it sent to your house.
Well,
Yep.
you have to understand, not everyone can buy online, because in order for you to buy online, you have to use some sort of debit card or gift card or some sort of shit like that. So you have a lot of people who are on.
You can get a prepaid debit card at the gas station.
Well, it's not even that as well. Some people don't have access to internet as well. But I do agree with what you said, Gamer, about going online, or whoever said it, about going online and buying stuff, especially from Amazon on Black Friday. It's cheaper because, take it from someone who's worked in electronics, on a Black Friday, we had a 75-inch Hisense TV, full LCD, the whole 9 yards. It was a fancy piece of crap. And they marked it down from $600 to $500, but then added an additional 5% sales tax to it, where basically it came up to almost $600. That's where they get you, is the sales tax.
Jeffrey, there is nobody in this country that doesn't have fucking internet, or almost nobody. Even the people that can't afford internet, they get free smartphones from the government with the ability to go onto browsers.
If they use the program, they have to.
Right.
Of course they will, though, Paul. If you're
They don't all. No, they
But
don't.
you do have those certain people, like certain communities in the Amish, that are against technology, but are allowing them to drive cars and stuff. And there are certain elderly people that are against the internet. They do see it as an
send
issue.
carrier pigeons to the Amazon headquarters and get whatever they want sent back to their fucking stone hut.
Also, one of the ways they divide some of that stuff and force you to go to the store is they do the in-store only is what they do. It won't show up on the
I've honestly, though, Paul, I don't know, I can't speak to everybody or anywhere. I've honestly found better deals online for like Cyber Monday or, quote unquote Black Friday deals online than I've ever seen in local stores here for whatever reason. That's just been my personal experience.
I mean, honestly, it's like Steam. Sorry to interrupt you, Gamer, but it's like Steam's doing their Black Friday sale right now. And, almost every single Call of Duty is 15% off now.
Well, Steam does sales all the time, so I don't even go looking to Steam for like special Black Friday shit. Because it'll be on sale again 3 months later anyway. So what the hell, you know?
Well, speaking of Black Friday pickups, did y'all see anything in the ads or anything that was relevant? And anything that you guys, whether it's hardware or software related, doesn't matter. Anything that you guys found significant that sort of made you sort of pull the trigger, or really tempting you to pull the trigger?
Nah, I picked up a TV last year. I picked up a 75-inch micro LED LG TV for like $1,500, which was a steal at the time. Then I'm like good with that for now. So I haven't really been looking this Black Friday for anything.
Yeah. And same thing here. Like my game catalog, my back catalog is so big. I don't really, apart from Alan Wake 2, I'm not really interested in buying any other game right now. I mean,
I've been looking at Guardians of the Galaxy's on sale, and I might pick that up.
You still haven't picked up Guardians? Guardians is fire.
That's
Guardians
a great
is fire.
game. Yeah, I will agree with Paul. That is a great game. It has no business being as good as it is, honestly. It's a fantastic game with a great soundtrack.
It's kind of surprising that like they made a game like Guardians of the Galaxy and they followed it up with Gotham fucking Knights, and you're like, what the fuck happened there? You know? So
once you go live service or whatever the fuck that shit is, that's the downfall.
Yeah. Anybody else have a game pickup or anything that they found anything of significance? No.
I'm actually avoiding even window shopping because it makes me sad. So
I mean, the Trains Railroad games are on sale right now. If anybody's interested into that kind of thing, I actually got a copy of Trains Railroad Simulator 2019 for $10.59 this morning.
See, here's the thing that doesn't make sense to me, and how these companies actually, there are all these people complaining about brick and mortars not making money anymore, and I can see fucking why. Today, like I was with my wife, and I need a vest. Because ever since I've lost all this weight, I get colder more often, so I need a vest. So I was looking at
bulletproof like you were 50 Cent or some shit.
Well, yeah, that, and because I'm so famous because of this podcast, people call me out, and I need protection.
Yeah, protection.
Like that, right?
Block up.
It's like, oh my god, it's the Why Don't Give. No. But yeah, I was there and I looked at this vest. It was made by Columbia. It was like at Dillard's, it was like $80. So I quickly went in and I scanned the code. I literally the same barcode, okay, that Dillard's had. I scanned it and on Chrome, and I got basically a list of all the other people selling the same exact vest for a lot cheaper. And I finally got the vest off of Amazon for $50. And I'm like, well, fuck, they're like,
man, how the fuck do you know that you're old? You're talking about deals at Dillard's.
Well, I need clothes. I needed the clothes, dude. I mean, this is, but what I'm saying is like, I can understand, like you go these days and times, I don't even know how fucking companies make money because like, everyone has a phone. You could scan the shit and you probably find it somewhere a lot cheaper, online.
You understand, son, this sweater vest is fire. Oh yeah, no, it's true. You can find whatever it is somewhere else.
And well, sometimes it's a matter of like, I personally, since I don't drive, I can't go driving around, and sometimes it's just a matter of I don't want to be lazy and have to look at 32 different websites to find the cheaper price.
Yeah, also, 99% of people aren't using those apps to scan to see where it's cheaper. 99% of people are like, oh, it's here. This is the price. Can I afford it? Great. Let's buy it. They're not trying to be like, oh, where? Oh, it's cheaper 5 counties down. Let's go drive a hour and a half to go get this sweater vest at an extra $5 off. Like they don't give a fuck. They're just buying shit to buy shit. And that's most people. But for the people that are looking for deals, there's deals to be found. If they
I know somebody who did that for a video card. He drove 2 hours each way to get a video card cheaper than he could have got it locally. So.
And he saved $20 on the video card, but spent $40 on gas. Smart man.
I mean, it's just like my PC build. I've got most of my components on Amazon and we caught it on sale. And I mean, for the same exact build, Best Buy had almost identical to build for $2,000-$3,000, and me and Jim built it for about $700-$800.
Yeah, well, yeah,
that's what's up, man.
If you can build your own, you're taking away the cost of labor and stuff and other markups. So yeah.
Well,
if you build
her, that's her right there.
Oh wow!
He just said her. It has a gender.
If you build it, I will come. If you build it, I will come. I'm sorry, I just did. I'm sorry.
Damn it! You assumed it's gender. How dare you?
Wait a second. I gotta clean up this sticky mess. Hold on. I'm just kidding. All right. Okay.
Like it's like a ship, man. It's a she. Ships and cars and bills. They're she's.
All right. So let's go ahead and go on to the main topic here. Jim's, since these are your teammates of sorts, care to go ahead and talk about this topic as to
I don't know any of them.
well, just go ahead and give
I
us
don't know.
a good introduction.
He's like, I don't know.
I met him on the street and said, "You want to make a game?" Yeah.
One night people they were drinking, eating, and like, yeah, let's do something. Well, let's make a game. Okay, that seems like a good idea.
I mean, kind of did it while drunk slightly. You
You guys want to play skee ball? I don't know. Let's make a video game. Let's do that instead.
I think that's good.
That sounds better than skee ball.
We've got quite a little bit in store for everyone. I've got a little bit of a list that I can go down. There is one project that will not be discussed. It is being kept as a secret, and along with another secret project. So, where do you want us to start? Do you just want us to start with the first game?
You start off as whatever you're comfortable with. Just go ahead and tell us a little bit about the company, a little bit about the philosophy behind it, and what are your first projects, and just
all right.
forward.
So basically, our company is founded between me, Jim, and a friend of ours named Al, who has studied code in high school and who actually developed websites and everything. We've agreed that we are not going to be EA or any other company like that. We are putting our employees before anything. Our employees' comfort and safety comes before anything else.
Nick, are you comfortable and are you safe? Give us a signal if you need help.
But
DM me if you need anything. Just DM me. Blink once if you're okay. Blink twice if you're not.
I'm sorry, Jeff. I had to do it. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. So basically, the backstory of our company is we wanted to basically do something that has never been done before and do something that pushes technology farther than it ever has before. I'm talking about farther than what Ark Survival Ascended has done. Our last game on our list is a MMO like GTA 5, but with the 5M aspect. But I will get to that last. Our very first game, it's a weird name, but it's unique in its own, is called Plateaus. It's basically a maze-running platform jumper to where you're building up through the levels, trying to dodge enemies, traps, trying to get to the exit safely. We are wanting to add over 200 and some levels to it, and it is a current working project. We are planning and do have a deadline of January 15th for at least a workable demo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're pushing the boundaries.
You guys are a little busy, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, it's been nonstop.
Well, I want to say thank you for, taking time off and with such a protracted schedule to actually invest that much time in our show. So thank you, by the way.
No problem. Honestly, I've been enjoying it so far. But the next game on our agenda, this is going to kind of hit a mix of players. This is going to hit the survivalists and the people who like trains. Imagine yourself in a post-apocalyptic world. An infection has broken out. There is a cure, however, the infection spread it too quickly and the cure was not able to be given out properly. So your goal is to basically survive on a steam train and fight against this infection. And of course, there's other beasts as well and other types of critters. But your goal is to basically survive against the elements, against AI enemies, against the infection, and try to keep your train running all at the same time while collecting resources.
Potentially other players.
Yeah. A multiplayer mode is something we are considering for that game to make it more interesting to where you can actually have player-on-player combat.
Or just general cooperative behaviors.
By the way, just a heads up, because of who I am and what I do, if any of these games lack accessibility, Nick will not be safe.
Ball will roll over your toes.
Well, that is one things that we are planning on incorporating is accessibility, because again, that kind of falls within our philosophy of putting the gamers first. So when we start getting our games to a point where we shall have workable demos, let's just say, we do plan to reach out to different people, such as like you, Paul, and others similar to you, to basically take our game and say, okay, how can we make this more accessible for you? And what do you see is broken? What's working? Tell us how we can fix it so it's more accessible and works for you. So that way we can, be inclusive of everyone.
Good, because to be honest, because I've interviewed developers before, and a lot of times the first thing I say is, "What about accessibility?" And they will honestly say, "Well, we didn't think about that," because their mindset is for the general gamer, and it's like,
Well, for us, it's like, okay,
100% an afterthought in most cases.
Yeah. So, well, for us, it's like, okay, well, we've got our general gamer, which is fine.
Yeah.
So we can build that. We know how to build all that already. Our main thought, our first focus is, okay, how can we include those who generally cannot be included?
Yep. So basically, you're not going to be the next From Software. You're not going to be the next From Software that gives me the finger every time they put out a game.
Paul. Paul, if you really want us to, we can give you the finger, but we're still going to include you somehow.
Paul prefers two.
I mean,
and before you give me the finger, Nick, realize I've lived in Texas for like 10 years. So I wouldn't suggest it. I'm just saying, Yeah.
Nope. If Paul's like me, he open carries on his wheelchair.
Damn straight.
Right.
Rosie, what's up?
That's not even a joke.
What's up?
That's legit. I do. I don't know if you do, Paul, but I 100% do.
I'm sorry. I went to see my
shit. What's up, Cozy?
And my niece was there, and she wanted me to spin her around a lot.
She was where?
She's like, my niece was at my family's house. Like, I went to go. I don't see her a whole lot, but I am her person. She's very young.
We were out there, like we all knew where there was. So I was like, where the fuck?
Oh no! Like I went to see my family, and my niece was there, and she was like super excited, and she just wanted to be spun around. Also, my legs hurt because she had me jumping with her for 45 minutes.
Oh,
good
jump around.
So is she was she heavy, or are you just way out of shape?
No. She's just like, she's thick too. No, he was on a trampoline and I was jumping on the ground because she wanted me to jump with her.
You weren't even on the trampoline, you bum.
So you were outside of the trampoline simulating jumping on the trampoline.
Do you guys not know the instructions for a trampoline? Only one person's supposed to be on the trampoline at a time.
What trampoline is this?
Nobody follows those instructions. What the hell?
The instructions say only one person.
Oh my God. Nobody follows that information.
To bounce
You
off
are
of
fake
only one
news.
person at a time. Sorry.
So were you really did your niece really want to be rolled around, or were you just doing it because you just
She kept saying again.
Pent up energy?
No, she kept saying again. I was like spinning around until she got really dizzy, and she was like, again.
Oh, okay. Because I mean, if you were doing it maliciously, then
I'm not gonna talk.
I mean, did you spin her till she puked or anything fun like that?
Cozy was jumping on the trampoline with some Colt 45s, just getting turned the fuck up, and now she's like, "Oh no, my niece really wanted to jump. It wasn't me. I didn't do it."
Okay, so Cozy, since you came in a little bit late, let me go ahead and get you catched up. We are talking to
catched up. Well, that's some classic Alabama vocabulary right there.
Catched
We're
up.
getting you catched up.
Hey, look,
catched up.
I'm not gonna say
apparently
this,
Nick's computer crashed.
Oh no.
What are we doing?
Staring at us.
We're making fun of Wize.
They're making fun of me. Anyhow, so we're talking to Jim's colleagues here, and they're talking about the game that they're developing right now.
Oh, sweet.
And
What?
yeah,
Sure.
yep.
Yeah,
And
they actually
Jeff,
be making shit.
they're actually doing something productive with their life, apart,
Right.
as opposed to all of us, right? Yeah,
I'm making a game too.
Well, we're trying to.
That's more than I'm doing. I'll tell you right now.
Which like I said, the Rails of Survival is our last 2D game, our secret project. which I will say the name is called Trial of Trains. Besides that, nobody will know any more than that. It is a secret
It has to do with
project.
trains, right? There's trains
So
involved.
I see
right?
a prevailing theme.
What
here.
kind
You
of
like
trains? What kind of trains?
That's
All
exactly
kinds of
where I was
different
going.
trains, from the early 1850s up to the modern era.
Never mind.
Very
never mind.
cool.
Don't
Yeah.
even-
Yeah.
It's not-
Cozy was
Nah,
like right over your
nah.
head. Right over your head, guys.
Not the kind of train you want, Cozy. Not that kind of train. Yeah.
But that game, the Trial Trains, is going to be a 2.5D game. That's where we're going to start breaching into 3D. That brings us
2.5
to our
Ds.
fourth game in the collection, which is something that no train making company has ever attempted. It's called Rails Evolution. It starts you from the early narrow gauge steam era, and you basically build up through the eras and get to the modern era, and even possibly futuristic era. Our plans for this game is pretty straightforward. We want to make it realistic, make it to where you have to maintain your engine. If you fail to maintain the water level, the boiler will explode, of course. We want to make realistic explosions. We want to do everything as realistic as possible for this game. This is
So
where,
like a simulation, but with trains.
basically.
Yeah.
Were
The
you
only-
a train
I-
man
I
as a
will say-
child?
I will say the only train game I've ever really gotten into is Railroad Tycoon.
Oh my God,
thank
yes, I've got
you
all
said
three.
that.
Good.
Yeah.
Leisure Suit Larry Magna Cum Laude.
That's the only train. I literally thought that's what he was gonna say. He said the only train I'm used to is the one I run on a weekend.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, yeah. In that case, though, I'm always the engine because I don't want to be the caboose. You don't want to be the last one. You don't want to be the last one throwing the hot dog down that hallway. So, you know.
Well, you actually want to be the caboose because nobody docks into the caboose. The caboose free and clear. Every other car getting inserted.
Well, that brings us to our last game, which might intrigue all of you. Like I said before, our last game is something like GTA 5M servers. We are going to make a completely flat map with mountains, trees, the whole 9 yards. It is going to be a player-driven economy where players, let's say there's a sawmill in the map, and the sawmill needs logs, the players have to get in the truck, go to the logging area, cut down the trees, load the logs up, and take it to the sawmill, and so on. It is going to be a full-on role-playing game with full-on interactive CAD. It is going to have a full-on dispatcher CAD system that's built into the game to where the dispatchers can even play the games. They will have shifts that they can take, whether it's 6-hour shifts, 8-hour shifts, where they can actually drive around the map as a civilian while they're also being a dispatcher as well. So it is something that's going to go full on in 3D, and it is something that's going to really take the role-playing community by storm.
Or at least that's what we're hoping.
And we're hoping to put GTA to shame.
Is it solely that profession, or is it other professions as well?
There's going to be other professions as well. You're going to have train driving. You're going to be able to be a cop, paramedic, firefighter, truck driver. You can be a tow truck driver. There's going to be all kinds of different jobs in it.
Yeah,
so it's
we're
gonna be like
still
a
just
massive open world where you could basically get a job of some kind, and you sort of fill that
Yeah.
role.
We're hoping to put GTA to shame and show them that they do have a match that they have to keep up with.
Okay, so you established the first. So when I look at it, first of all, my first question is: you have 4 games that you are sort of like in progression that you're developing. The first one is a platformer. The second one is like a survival, 2D survival. The third one is more of what did I say? Was more of a simulation, and then the fourth one is a massive multiplayer. Correct?
Yes.
Okay,
sort of,
so
more or less.
so my first question regarding all of this is what, like most, I don't know. Like I can only speak for the couple of developers that I've had conversations with. Usually, a lot of developers, they start with their first program, with their first ideas, and they get through that into fruition before they start looking at the other ones. So what was the motivation behind sort of saying, okay, we're going to go ahead and put, basically pencil out maybe these 4 projects, these 4 goals? Like, what was the motivation behind that versus saying, okay, you know what, we're going to do a platformer and make it the best fucking platformer we can make, and then we're going to look at other options? So What was
Well,
sort of the thinking
as
behind that?
far as penciling them out, just because we haven't penciled out doesn't mean we're going to be rushing each one. It just means that we kind of already have more or less, shall we say, timetable, if you will. Kind of scheduled out and said in the sense of, okay, this is the kind of the order we want to do these in for whatever reasons we've decided. But we're basically going to say, okay, well, game one, because the way we're planning on doing it is we're taking one game at a time. So basically, right now we're working on game number one. We have it in the oven. We're going to let it take its time. We're going to bake it right. We're going to make sure it's working right. Make sure it's got the accessibility options, for being able to include people like Paul and Supernova and anyone else like that.
See, Nick, they're putting your safety first. That's good. That's good.
And
by the way,
sure
Cozy, if you don't know, Nick is being held hostage. So if he says something to you, please make sure you notice it, because we're trying to make sure that Nick is not being tortured.
But yeah, so we're basically going to work on the first game, make sure it's working right, get that going, and then once we've kind of start, I guess, going down, kind of coming off that hill, if you will, start ramping up the next one and just kind of, keep working the first one until we get it to that point of, okay, we got it. It's good. And then we just take in whatever feedback is necessary to, fix whatever bugs, errors, issues that players find. And then, kind of take it from there. And then,
but why a platformer?
Because it's a simple game and, we just wanted to kind of
tools.
Use it as a learning tool, more or less.
Yeah, especially with us using a new engine that we've never used before. We're using the Godot engine. It's meant for 2D games. It's not really designed for 3D.
It can handle both.
Yeah, it can, but it's not full on like Unreal Engine 5 or 4.
Yeah.
That's where Unreal Engine 5 is going to come into play with the last two games.
And even then, we're still a little hesitant about, using certain engines because, certain companies have done certain.
I was just going to say, you're not going to use that certain company that just did it dirty to all of their users.
Unfortunately,
it rhymes with Boonity.
Yes, we're trying to avoid the Boonity engine.
Yeah.
Like we're literally doing everything we can to try to avoid using, those engines, from those particular companies that shall remain less than nameless, that have kind of screwed their users over. Like we're not into that. We don't care for that type of stuff.
It's a screw unity is what we call it now.
Screwity, unfortunately, is not one we want to use if we can avoid it.
Yeah. Because while we're working on our first game, we do have our people that do the background history and the studying of the engines and all that for our train games already working on putting the information into the Google document sheets that we use. And they're getting everything ready for us. That way we can just keep proceeding down as we go.
How big is the team right now as it stands?
6. Me, Jim, we have our lead artist, Erica, we have our lead researcher, Dylan, then we have our lead coder, Al, and we got 2 to 3 beta testers as well.
So you have almost less than one person per position, basically. You guys are all multitasking.
Yeah.
More or less, yes. And then Nick is kind of in helping us out with, like whatever it is that we need. He kind of helps, keep things moving. So that way, if like one area starts getting bogged down, he can...
when Jim needs coffee, he calls Nick. He says, Nick, you have.
Right here, Jim.
Don't worry, I got you on speed dial for both my phone and watch.
No,
activating the bat signal.
So let's go back to this platformer of sorts. So you were talking. You said in passing that you're aiming for about 200 levels in this platformer. Can you describe what your inspiration from other games, like what other games are going to be the inspiration for this one?
One of them is Mario Maker. We want to add a feature into the platformer game to where the players can actually make their own levels, make their own traps, and all that. I forget what the other name is called. I wish Al was here because he knows it by heart. But that's where we're mainly taking it from.
I will say from an real quick, from an accessibility standpoint, if you haven't played it yet, look at what Psychonauts 2 did. Psychonauts 2 is an awesome platformer. They did some great things in the form of accessibility to a lot of people like me, who by design hate platformers, by the way, because they tend to be very difficult for us. And Psychonauts 2 gave us options to make it so we could play it. Yeah.
So, Paul, does that mean you're volunteering to help us test our games out? Because that
absolutely,
absolutely.
Now, mind you, some of my recorded responses might have a lot of this in it.
And then we'll know if the game is accessible, if it's Paul approved accessibility.
That's right.
I mean, we can certainly work on bleeps per minute.
Now, I do know our
it comes to ability, that Paul seal of approval is like that Nintendo seal of quality.
The cerebral Paul seal of approval. You know, you would get some customers that way. It's got the cerebral Paul.
It's like, so how many bleeps did we get out of this run? Okay.
Go ahead, Jeff.
So we need to try to reduce it.
Well, Jim, I don't know if Al's talked to you about this yet, but he has brought it to my attention that he would like to make our first 2D games accessible to Steam, as well as phones as well. Our 3D games, we're kind of branching out once we get to that point, and we get to the point where we can actually set up meetings with like Microsoft and Sony. We want to make a contract with them to where we can release Rails Evolution and our role-playing game actually onto the systems themselves. Something that 5M has not been able to do at all.
By the way, just so you know, if you haven't already looked at it, look at the program ID at Xbox, because they will give you resources. So.
We'll have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, and the other thing that we also plan to do is all of our games, regardless of what it is, at the bare minimum, we're going to have at least some sort of Steam Shop integration or Steam Hub or whatever it is, so people can, have a way of doing their own mods and whatnot.
And our lead artist, as I said, her name's Erica. She brought a game idea to our attention as well that I would like to talk about a little bit. Not too much, because I don't want to go into too many details, because we really haven't got to the point of having a lot of details on it yet. She wants to basically have us, after we get all of our plans done, she wants us to start working on a game that puts you in the life of a drug-addicted user and shows you what the person goes through to basically get what they got to get, what they do to get the money that they got to get the, I'm not going to say it on live stream because of the fact that it is considered as copyrightable. But
Dick sucking simulator confirmed.
But it takes you in the life of that, and then it also shows you the rehabilitation system that they have to go through to the extent to become clean, to better their life.
Well, the fact that you, as a character in the game, be on a medication, is that going to show like on the screen, and it's something that when you're off the medication, the screen, the presentation is going to be different?
For stuff like that, we haven't really gone into too much thought about it because it was just kind of like more of what we call a market board idea at this point. Because again, we've got the current projects that we're running, so we're trying to get some of those taken care of first before we start putting more on the plate.
Right.
So we're trying to make sure that what we're taking off the buffet is what we should have and what we can eat before we take more, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So right now we're also kind of talking to the person that came up with the idea to kind of flush some of that out before we start releasing more details on that.
Yeah.
Well, let me say this with I actually, unlike Paul, I actually do enjoy platformers. Platformers was the first games that I ever played. Mario Brothers being one of them. So it's just one of those things that sort of been something I've been playing since day one as gamer. One of the things that I could say about platformers is that you do get into a situation where things can get kind of repetitive if you do not sort of shake up the system a little bit. The reason that people are sort of like me and Supa, we're really sort of leaning towards Super Mario Wonder because all of the worlds as you play are inherently different. And even within that world, there's another mechanic that you can collect the wonder mushroom or whatever they call it. It's the wonder flower, and it changes up the world entirely different. So it keeps the whatever levels that they have sort of fresh. So I mean that is one thing you need to think about. And also when you're doing a platform, it's very easy to get into that situation of going just from left to right. But the good thing about a lot of these days with platformers is that, for example, you should try verticality as opposed to just moving in on just one dimension, maybe moving in at least 2 dimensions, both up and down and left and right. So that also would definitely, mean go.
Well, in that respect, we are still toying around with some ideas to bring diversity to the different levels, with some ideas that may make it really interesting, because most games, use the procedural generation, which I mean it works, but we're looking into some ideas that we're gonna not really mention yet, because again we want to make sure that they're going to work first to kind of go beyond the procedural generation limitations and see if we can't push things a little further, to get that aspect of what's the word I'm looking for, dynamic flow, if you will.
Yeah, and you can't forget about the Easter eggs that we're planning on adding into it as well, which I will say one, because I think everybody's going to laugh at this. We want to add a pickle into the levels.
I'm Pickle Rick. Yeah.
Exactly what I thought of.
That's what we intend to do, is add a couple pickles here and there just to give the feeling that, hey, I might be being watched by Pickle Rick right now.
Anybody else? Well, Super, do you have any questions or anything to say? Cozy, Triple.
Let me just say that Wize plays the game Find the Pickle with his wife all the time. She never does. She never does.
because that's
oh baby, I told you I have an outie belly button. That's not my pickle.
It's in here. I can't feel if it's in. Well, I'm sorry.
It's one of those little sweet. It's one of those little sweet pickles. It's not kosher, It's one of those.
It's more like a pickle slice, but don't it?
Yeah, little baby dill.
Cozy, you were saying? She's
I
like
don't
stunning.
remember what I was saying.
Like I was saying shit, and then he came the barrage of dick jokes, and now I'm lost. God damn it!
So, what's been the hardest part for you?
For who, me?
Yeah.
The hardest part's been working with our coder, trying to get everything situated.
For a minute, I thought you were going to say working with Jim. I don't know.
Well, working with Jim as well, but more of our coder having a hard time understanding how Godot works and having to urge him and encourage him to keep pushing forward no matter the setbacks that happen. I mean, any company that starts is going to have setbacks, and we expect to have a couple. And we're not going to stop from it. We're going to improve what made that setback and continue to push forward.
And needs to understand how important the pickles are to the core of the game.
Right. What do you mean this level doesn't have a pickle? You better get that pickle in there.
But that's why, as Titan Rails, we have a motto that we go by that we introduced to the company, and it's going to stick around. It's called Beyond the Rails. Meaning the future is in front of us and nothing will stop us from reaching our goals.
Well, I know, again, I've never developed a game ever in my life, so I don't know what it means to go into it, but I do know that those who have said that it is a eyebrow raising harrowing experience. It's like somebody famously said that a game basically doesn't work until the very end, until that's when it starts working. So yeah, I mean, you guys have a lot of work cut out for you, and we from all of us, I can say that we wish you all the best, and we look forward to it, and we are grateful that you were able to come on with us and tell us about this game, and we're looking forward to it.
And we appreciate you having us here as well.
Yeah, it was yeah. So when you do have a running bill, we would love to premiere it on this podcast. And you said January of the upcoming year.
Yes,
That's
January.
our intended goal as of right now. Obviously,
Right.
Of
course,
could
times
change, but
right.
as of right now, at this podcast date, that is our intended plan.
And how close to fruition are you getting? Are you feeling that you are to that meeting that date?
Kind of hard to say on that one.
I'd say I feel about we're almost halfway. He's our early coders. He's learning the system, and he's learning it pretty quickly at this rate. And I feel good about the January 15th date.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
All right, Super. Anything?
No, that's related. I was reminded when you were talking about how the game doesn't really come, around until like the final days. It reminds me of the story of God of War 2018, where Shuhei had seen the game a couple months before it launched, and he was like, "Yeesh, that fucking shit needs work." And Corey Barlog and the team did whatever they did in the last couple months to make it the game that we got in 2018. But 4 or 5 months prior, it would have been a completely different game. So that's what it reminded me of when you were talking about that.
And be careful. Jason Schreier is looking over your shoulders and going to write about crunch culture in your organization if you're not careful. So yeah, just putting it out there, And Nicholas, that would be a good person to befriend because the amount that they're abusing you. I think Schreier could write a really good article about you though. So.
I'm abused now.
No.
Never.
They don't love me. I thought they loved me. Okay. Cozy, you have any questions?
So do you have so many games planned because you come up with an idea and it's outside of the scope of your game design?
Can you repeat that real quick?
Do you come up with the idea for do you move something to a new game because you, as you're working on a game, you come up with a concept, but it's outside of the scope of your current game?
I wouldn't say it's happened too much. I mean, maybe once or twice, but not really. Normally, the game ideas that we come up with, we sit down as a team and discuss things, and we basically just spend hours and hours and hours just getting things situated in the Google Documents, getting the information set up. And I mean, yeah, it can happen sometimes where, like, for example, the Plates game, we originally were going to design a Maze Runner game. And our lead coder was like, why don't we just mix the Maze Runner game into a platformer and combine them and just make one game out of both?
I can see that. And it sort of happens like that. It's sort of organically, sort of like you see one idea and then you say, okay, maybe we can also incorporate these ideas as well. So yeah, I mean, as long as it fits with the game, I think that's the main importance. Triple, any questions?
I'm thinking, but I'm drawing a hard blank at the moment, and come back to me later.
All right. Okay. So, well, to be honest with you, that's we have to cut this short.
There is no later, Triple.
Oh, shit.
There is no later. Yeah, because we're
I'm trying to think something along the lines of like when it comes to financing your project, but I can't figure out the best way to word that aside from it's like you got a topic idea, but you don't know the best way to go down the path of thinking. So I'm kind of drawing a blank here for a second. And partially getting my ass kicked in Halo as we talk.
Who's paying for your shit?
Well, that's a simple question, and that's a simple answer as well. We are planning on making a company bank account through City National, and me, Jim, and Al, we all have full-time jobs and reality, and we are planning on putting money together to boost the company. That way we actually have money backing us up when we need it.
All right, so I kind of have one that's kind of a fun ask. Out of the 3 major platform holders, if any of them said, hey, you guys want to work with us, who would you go with and why?
Oh, good question.
What do you mean by that? Like if Xbox, Sony, or Nintendo?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Well, I would have to either say Nintendo or Sony just due to the fact I have bad experience with Xbox. I used to be a part of their enforcement team, and they didn't really treat me so much as a human as they did a dog. So.
Yeah. Interesting.
Cerebral, any questions?
I think he's MIA.
Yeah, I think he's in. Guys, okay, so that pretty much does it for the show tonight. And as I have everyone sign off tonight, I want to ask everyone, as you're telling us where we can find you, also tell us, please, since we just came off of Thanksgiving, what makes you thankful as a gamer? So let me go ahead and start off with our guests, Mr. Jeffrey. Where can we can find you, and tell us why you are grateful to be gaming or a gamer.
Well, you can find us on Discord. We have not yet posted our link on any website yet. That is something we are planning on doing. We do have a Twitter. We do have a Trello as well. It's Titan Rails. What I'm thankful for being a gamer, I'm thankful for having wonderful friends by me to be able to play games with, and just an amazing team. Having all that is thankful enough for me.
All right, Nicholas, you're next.
Well, of course you can find us, like he said, on Discord and Trello. You can also find Jeff has a YouTube, if he does want to say that after.
No, I'll type in the chat.
He has a YouTube.
No, send me the links. DM me also, because I can put it in the show notes as well.
All right, give me a second.
He has a YouTube, and I tend to go in there, and if you have any questions, go DM me, and then I can get to them for that. So, and then what I'm thankful for being a gamer is just meeting everybody and having friends and stuff like that.
I just posted it in the private chat for you.
Like Jeff said, this is my escape from reality.
That's good. That's good. Jim, tell us where we can find you, and tell us what you're thankful for.
You can find me somewhere on planet Earth. On the Twitters, in your DMs, and here every Friday, or most Fridays whenever we do the shows. And what I'm thankful for, this podcast, and all the friends that I've made out of it, and the company that we're getting finally going, and the friends that not only making out of that, but the fun times we're probably going to have ahead of us.
Yep.
Well, all the best from all of us to all of you guys, and when you have a beta run, we would be honored to be the ones for you to, we'd be the show that you would present it on. So no pressure. All right, Cozy, tell us where we can find you, and tell us what you are thankful for.
All right, you can find me wherever you find Cozy Belugas, on Twitter, on Steam, on Xbox, and Thursdays on 4GQTV, Fridays here with you great fellows, and also on sometimes.
Oh, I take it.
Also with Loke on PSWS, and on Sundays on the Majestic Mayhem. And I've always been grateful for gaming. There's no time that I've ever not been grateful. I don't understand people that aren't grateful for something in gaming, because I've been in the slums of gaming, where my only access to a game was that Tiger handheld.
Oh man!
And and the Family Dollar 25-in-1. It was just like all the games look like blocks.
Yeah, man, I loved my Sega Genesis, but I also love those Tiger Electronics. I'm not gonna lie, I played the fuck out of some Tiger Electronics.
So gamer, I posted that link for you in the private chat.
Yes, sir. Thank you. We'll put it in the show notes.
I'm just grateful to always have something to play.
Absolutely.
Super. Tell us where we can find you and what you're grateful for.
You can find me on YouTube at Supernova Gaming. My PSN is Supernova Gaming. My Xbox is Real Supernova Gaming. On Twitter at Gaming Supernova. Then here every Friday, getting wasted with Wize, especially not since Wize sent me a fucking Mack truck full of Fireball, cinnamon flavored whiskey, or as Cells would call it, toothpaste. And whenever King Thrash decides to the round table, I'll be doing that as well. And that's it. In terms of what I am grateful for, I'm grateful that gaming has gotten to a place where, in my opinion, it is the medium that is now, it has exceeded what TV and film can do. For me, video games is the ultimate medium for trying to tell a story. And I'm grateful that gaming has gotten to a place where I can experience games that would blow young me's fucking mind to just fathom what's capable. So that's what I'm grateful
blow
for.
your mind.
He just wants to get blowed.
Oh.
Cerebral, tell us where we can find you. Great.
Pause.
What now?
Tell us where we can find you. Tell us what you're grateful for. Not a goddamn thing, but go ahead.
Not a goddamn thing is the correct answer there. No, okay. So you can find me, Cerebral Paul, at the app formerly called Twitter, now called X, now called Who Gives a Fuck. At Cerebral Paul 1, and you can find me on Twitch at Cerebral Paul. You can find me on Tuesdays on the Xbox Ambassador channel with my show Gaming Differently with Cerebral Paul. I have been streaming more recently on Twitch as well, so you might want to follow me there. I have fun with the group that I game with. And then on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, you can find me on 4GQ Monday for the Pro Wrestling podcast, or the Wrestling Entertainment podcast, Pop-Up Powerbomb. And then on Wednesdays, sometimes I show up for the Backlog Bastards. And on Thursdays, you can find me for 4GQ. And then on Fridays, you can find me right here with Wasted with Wize. And I, too, am enjoying the Fireball Gallon. Mine will probably not last more than a week or two. Now that I have it, I'm going to drink it. I'm going to enjoy it. So what the hell, you know?
You get the eggnog too, Paul?
I did get the eggnog. The eggnog was finished by Wednesday. Okay.
Oh damn! See,
Oh,
I haven't even
someone
cracked
knows
open the
how to
eggnog.
party.
I'll have to check that shit out,
dude. That eggnog is the shit, man. That
Yeah,
eggnog,
the eggnog was yummy. The eggnog was yummy.
I did Fireball this week. I'll try the eggnog next week.
I gotta send you the eggnog too, Triple, as well.
So what would y'all recommend alcohol-wise? Because I'm getting
What do
drunk
you
on
like?
my birthday. I cannot
yes.
drink strong liquor. I have mental issues that kind of make me go sideways when I drink liquor.
A good,
Well,
a good shot. To be honest with you, if you want to get drunk and you don't want to get really bad drunk, I would avoid the hard alcohols. I would do a chateau. A good chateau. That would always be good. It would get you.
If you want to drink it, if you want to drink and not get drunk, drink Coors. I'm just saying.
I think you can get pretty fucked up on vodka and not really get that.
I might go with Bud Light or go with wine cooler. Strawberry banana daiquiri kind of sounds good right now.
Oh.
Hey, listen, man! Don't let anyone tell you that those foo drinks are gay. Listen, why? If you want to get fucked up, why do you have to drink shit that tastes like trash? Those wine coolers will get you fucked
There's
up
a
and
reason.
they taste delicious.
You can.
Don't let anybody tell you
to be
otherwise.
trash so that
You
when
know,
I
if
drink
you
it,
know-
I know
if
I'm going to
yeah.
get that way.
If you know, you can. If you know what's in a daiquiri, daiquiris can get you wasted quickly.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
anything
I've
with
tried
sugar
it
and
one
alcohol.
time.
I mean, heck, you just take a vodka,
those-
put a spoon of sugar in it, you're fucked.
I
Yeah.
took
Wine
a
coolers will get
shot
you
glass
fucked up.
and poured it halfway full with strawberry daiquiri and poured just a little bit of the cinnamon Fireball Jack Daniels in it. It was so freaking good.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie.
By the way, I was going to say, for those that don't have eggnog with liquor already in it, Fireball plus eggnog is the shit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
It works. It
Here's this-
Get
really,
those eggnog leaders from the fucking gas station.
No, if you want the best eggnog, you go to Publix. They have this green Wize eggnog, and you put some of that Fireball in it. Oh my god, it's like next level shit. I mean, that shit is so
cinnamon overkill.
Oh, like, literally, when I have that, I don't even eat dinner. I'm like, fuck it, I'm good. Shit. Yeah, I'm good. I'm getting everything I need, man.
Everyone thinks Wize is dead. He just sleeping in the corner. Just big ass on his face.
Triple, tell us where we can find you. Tell us what you're grateful for.
Yeah, you can find me here on Fridays every now and then for the most part. YouTube, Twitter, so Triple Combo Gaming, and Twitch as well. What I'm grateful for, aside from the friends stuff, being able to experience awesome video game stories and get my ass kicked in the process, like in Dark Souls too. So that's been fun. But
You don't play games.
So
yeah.
I have to ask Gamer.
Well, and my name, of course, is the Wise Old Gamer. You can find me Wise Old Gamer with a Z at PlayStation, Xbox, Twitter. Do not follow me on Twitter if you get your panties furled pretty easily, because there are some posts that I put there that you may find. Whoa.
May.
Hot take.
May.
Maybe.
You know what? You don't put anything near as nasty as what
Wilmy does.
Wilmy does. No.
Yeah. Wilmy told me to back off one time when I was doing it. I was like, oh my God, yeah, maybe I need to filter some of this stuff that I post, because some of the stuff I got is really bad. But yeah, what am I grateful for? To be honest with you, I'm grateful to be a gamer, because if it wasn't for this medium, I wouldn't have met all of you guys. And the fact that I'm doing something that I've always wanted to do, and doing it with people that I can say genuinely are friends outside of just podcasting, is huge. I mean, and I think that there's no other medium on this planet that allows people to come together quite as well as gaming does. And I've always said it, I think most people should be these types of gamers, because I think that the way gaming is inclusive and brings people together, if more people had that, I think with all the silliness in this world would not be an issue anymore. Because yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, look at myself. I mean, I met all of these people, and I've met all of these guys, and all of you guys are really my friends. And I am grateful not only for this podcast, but gaming in general, for allowing me to sort of meet you individuals and have like-minded thoughts and everything like that. So yeah. That's pretty much our show tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for Nicholas and Jeffrey for coming on, and thank you for Jim for bringing him on. And yeah, that's our podcast for tonight. Remember, you can be anywhere, but you've not been anywhere until you first been wasted with Wize. See you tomorrow. See you next week.
Peace.
And we are